I Good morning, y'all. Good morning. Good morning. First of all, I need to do a mic check, of course. I need to know. Good morning, y'all. I'm gonna do roll call, and y'all let me know how I sound. Good morning, ebooks. Come correct, serious. That's pretty much it. Come correct, ebooks, and serious. Can y'all let me know how I'm sounding? How do I sound? Sound good? Okay. Thank you, ebooks. Thank you. Yeah, I think I figured out what was going on last night. I think. Um, Truth is sound. Thank you, come correct. I think I had my okay, so my mic runs off Bluetooth, right? And I had my Bluetooth on. Thank you, Sirius. I had my Bluetooth on my phone because my daughter was sending me a video and she sent it through Bluetooth. So I had my Bluetooth on my phone. And my phone was sitting right next to my mic. I don't know if that was it. Y'all know I couldn't rest without trying to figure out what was going on. I was kind of, you know, uh, perturbed because I thought maybe my mic that I spent so much money on wasn't any good. But I think that's what it was. I think the fact that I had my Bluetooth on my phone, and then I had my mic runs off Bluetooth. I think it was kind of like an interference. I'm not for sure, but as long as I sound good this morning, I'm good. I appreciate y'all for being here. I know it's early, y'all. I do. But I wanted to jump into this trial. I did. Um, you know, so I decided to go ahead and start. I think you had the wrong people on the panel, and they were. Girl, you being messy early, girl. Hey, Slade, two sis and family. I'm in the palm. She's listening. Get ready for church. Love y'all. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday to you, Slade. Have a blessed day at church, girl. And pray for us. Pray for me. Pray for the Silvers and the state gang, girl. We need it, honey. We definitely need. We all need prayer. So shout out to you, Slade. I'm so glad you're feeling better and doing better. And have a good day at church. I was waiting on you to get in your prayers, but I ended up going to sleep. Ebooks. I was exhausted. I stuck it out though for a minute, but Pearl makes my ass itch. Trey know what triggers me. I think Trey likes to trigger me. You know what I mean? Like honestly, he be waiting on. He be waiting on. It's probably a good thing. Of course, I'm gonna go back and watch the replay of what I didn't hear, but He already know me, and he know what's gonna ruffle my feathers. And that Pearly, honey, she's a mess. Good morning, Mookie. But yeah, I appreciate y'all being here in these early AM hours. Okay, but I want to get started. For some reason, I'm very you know, I'm not gonna say excited, but I really want to. Okay, baby. I really want to get into this trial. I'm ready to get into it to see what really went on. Um, you want the link? Okay, gotcha. Come correct. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, Tony going to run an errand. He has to go to the he has to go to the feed store. The feed store. So yeah, yeah, I'm glad y'all are here this morning. We're gonna get into. I don't listen. I'm gonna try to listen to as much as this day one as I can today, um, because I got time today. How you come correct?
Hey, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you good.
Okay.
Hi, have you been watching this or following this trial?
Yeah, I was listening to it. I pretty much had to get to the nitty gritty. I wanted to hear what the son had to say.
Right. Gotcha. Yeah, I
And
want
I
to get
started
into.
listening to the mom's testimony, but then I found out Money Boy was on with Pearly and them.
I'm still sleepy. I might not make it up. Oh, okay. It was no problem for you. I know it's early, but I wanted to get started early because I wanted to get in as much today as I could before I actually get into my day. So I came on early. Y'all know I went to sleep early. I went to sleep on Trey's live last night and did. So actually I've been up, it's 8:30. I've been up for about 2 hours. So I decided to go ahead and get it started. And those that want to watch will watch the replay. And for those that's here right now, I appreciate it. I thank y'all so much. So y'all make sure y'all hit that like button and get these videos in the algorithm. Feel free to support the channel. And I appreciate everybody that's here. I wanted to do this first though, y'all. I wanted to watch a couple of videos of her mom. Like I really, really feel for this young lady's mom. I know she is going through and I just want to ask everybody to send up prayers for her. Thank you, Eagles, prayers for her because I mean, this is really sad, you know. And to think that see, people don't realize. Well, I think they do realize. But let me point out the fact that Breasia was not this guy's daughter, but her son is his son. So she has a child by this man that killed her other child. I mean, it's got to be the worst. You know what I'm saying? Like it's got to be the worst feeling in the world. So I wanted to watch a couple of videos, and I got one pulled up that we're gonna get into. Briage's mom, because y'all know this case is like I think maybe 3-4 years old, and it's just not going to trial. So let's watch this first video. I think this first video is entitled "It's 9:30 and she's nowhere." Police body camera catches Breage's mom breaking down. And so we're gonna watch that right quick. We're gonna watch a couple of little short videos of Breage's mom, and then we're gonna get into the day one of the court case. Okay, here we go. Set the stage for what is happening here. Myself and Detective Holmes are being out of that facility vehicle. We can be out. Make contact with the patient. You know where we can also get some more printouts of we got some flyers that we're about to go out and hang out.
Where we could get some more?
Like printed because my cousin she had ran out of ink.
I know Quick Start might have one of those things where you pay like a quarter or a copy or something like that, if that's something you want to look into.
So there was a flip-flop that they found down there, and we just want to make sure if it's if something she would wear or not. If it was hers, okay? No, I don't think that one was.
No. All right. Yeah, but I know Quick Start will do that, and then tomorrow during the day, I'm sure one of those copy places.
Sure, it's all over
even
Facebook.
if you talk to them and you show them, I'm sure they'll be even willing to do something
for free. That's what I was saying.
That's what I would.
But
imagine.
We already, going.
We're going down to the station, so with everything.
No, that's not hers.
Okay. So there's behind the scenes type stuff. Okay, we're doing search warrants. We're doing pinging the phones. Okay. Okay. But we have his mobile home down there. The FBI is down there. Everybody is working on it. Okay, it doesn't end. Okay.
I know, but it's 9:31 and I haven't heard from her. There's no way. No, I know. No, that's not her shoot. It's
No,
not her
we
shoot.
just had to make sure. Okay.
Yeah, but we appreciate it.
We. Okay.
I can't go to sleep with that. Like, what the? It's 9:30 and she's nowhere. Nowhere. I can't even talk to him. What the man? She's dead. What the?
Okay. Hey Trey. Thank you for that link.
Good morning, Money Boy.
So oh, this is gonna be a tough one, y'all. I gotta let you know it's gonna be a tough one. We're gonna watch a couple more little short videos. Let's get into this one.
A week of looking for 10-year-old Breasia Terrell hasn't brought any answers. That isn't stopping the search that's attracting people from across the Quad Cities to help. Breasia's mother has been part of it as well all week. That is a top story for you at 6 o'clock. Tonight, no one knows exactly what happened to Breasia after she was last seen in the early morning hours last Friday. That was on East 53rd Street in Davenport. Investigators say she was seen with Henry Dinkins at the time. Police called the 47-year-old a person of interest in the case. He's in jail on an unrelated charge of failing to register as a sex offender. Police focused again today on a 25-square-mile area of Clinton County. Hundreds of officers and volunteers spent hours on this hot summer day trying to find her. Breasia's mother was part of the crowd. Local 4's Leah Sims reports her mother has plenty of hope.
Keep this in your pocket if you come across anything that you think might be related.
The search continues for missing 10-year-old Breasia Terrell.
This is going to be your map. Take it with you. Inside here is a blow up of that same area.
The Clinton and Scott County emergency management agencies and local law enforcement work to coordinate with volunteers to assist in the search for Breasia. And dozens of volunteers showed up to assist, including Breasia's mother, Aisha Langford.
And I appreciate those that it touched, those who faced my daughter touched, those that came out and actually brought T-shirts and, out here in the sun getting bit up.
She's remaining hopeful her daughter will come back home.
I know it. I feel it. I know it. I mean, we're walking through the woods, but I still feel that she's located in someone's house. I do know that much. I mean, and if she's anywhere out here in these woods or something, that's because they had to let her go because, the tension is getting a bit too hot out here for them because, she's everywhere. And it's going to be that way until she comes home.
And she's hoping that with the help of so many, that maybe some leads will be found.
I thank our community, and I also thank you guys for keeping updates and things like that, and also keeping her not only in the news so that he can make sure that he see her face and let her know that I'm not going anywhere at all. You will never get to sleep in that cell until she's home.
Aaliyah Sims, Local 4 News.
Volunteers split into groups of 3 for today's search. Scott County's Emergency Management Agency says no volunteer groups went out after 2 this afternoon for safety reasons.
Thank you, Sirius. Thank you for reminding me. Thank you. All right, let's see. That was that one. Let me go back up. All right. Let's check this one out now.
Breasia Terrell's family held a vigil outside the Scott County Courthouse this morning before the trial started. They bought a sign saying "Forever in Our Hearts." Fox 18's Eric Olson spoke with Breasia Terrell's mother about her emotions of seeing the trial begin.
Polishing the photo board that shows the little girl kept in the hearts of so many in the Quad Cities since she disappeared in July of 2020, Breasia Terrell's mother, Aisha Langford, has waited and waited for this day.
It's nerve-wracking a bit. It's emotional, but it means everything to me right now because I've been waiting for this day. I've been waiting 3 years.
The sign in Brasia's family greeting some of the supporters who've come to the courthouse for the beginning of the trial.
I spoke to a few of them. I got a couple pictures of them. I'm thankful that they're actually here. You know, I wish that there was a lot more. You know, everybody said that they was looking for this day, and we out here, and I wish they could come out here and scream it with us too.
Aisha's on the witness list for the trial of Henry Dinkins, a man she shares a son with, who's now accused of killing her daughter.
I'm so happy to finally be here because I can't wait until she gets the justice that she deserves and we get her back and we able to kind of, you know, start healing just a little bit more.
Aisha is grateful the trial has moved back to Scott County from Lynn County so more friends and family can be there to support them during the trial. Eric Olson, Fox 18 News.
Okay, y'all, I think I got one more. I just want y'all to see the face of the mother, that's all. I just want y'all to see the face of the mother. I think this is pretty much the same.
Before the trial began,
I think that's pretty much the same. All right, so let's get into the day one trial coverage. And I haven't decided. I am gonna show images, but I don't know if I'm gonna keep it up the whole time, y'all. Y'all know I'm trying not to be struck or whatever. I don't know how these people work, but I will show images, okay? All right, here we go. I'm gonna try to fast forward it a little bit. That's him, y'all. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna put my music on. Then maybe I'll just show it the entire time. Let me put my music on. And y'all let me know if you can hear the music very, very low and still hear
All rise. District Court of Iowa is now in session. Honorable Judge Latham presiding.
You may be seated.
Can y'all hear them over the music pretty good? Turn it down just a little. Okay, Ebru. All right.
Good morning, everyone. We're here in the matter of State of Iowa versus Henry Dinkins, case number FPCR 415636. Mr. Dinkins is present, and he is represented by his attorneys Chad Freeze and Joel Waters. The state of Iowa today is represented by Kelly Cunningham, and I understand Assistant County Attorney Liz O'Donnell will be also representing the state. Before we start today, I would like to start with a couple of admonishments for both sides in this case. I'm asking both sides to advise their witnesses that they shall not be viewing any of the live streaming of this proceedings, and they shall not view that until they are released by the court as a witness in this case. Further, I understand that it's an open courtroom, and although it's a bench trial, I expect the same decorum in the courtroom as I would in any trial that I preside over, and I will ask for that respect of the court. Additionally, I would advise everyone that is viewing this trial within the courtroom, they're also admonished that they should not have any contact with any witnesses during the course of the trial or reach out to them in any way during the course of the trial. This trial is going to be conducted as cleanly as possible, so everyone has a fair trial in this. Outstanding rulings on motions. We had motions on Monday. A majority of the motions were already ruled on at that time. I would like to address those rulings that are outstanding. I'd like to first address the state's motion to introduce other crimes, wrongdoings or acts of evidence pursuant to Iowa Rule of Evidence 5.404B. That was filed on July 22nd of this year. I'm going to deny that state's motion. The court finds the prejudicial effect and undue prejudice to Mr. Dinkins is too great and is not outweighed by the probative value of this evidence. But I will advise the state, if the state determines that this evidence should be presented as a result of how the case proceeds, the state may renew their motion.
The prosecution's request to bring in previous acts. Come correct, mute your mic. I think what he just did was deny the prosecution the right to put into evidence his previous crimes. You know, he denied it. So, yeah.
I will next address the defendant's motion that was filed on July 25th of this year, precluding the state from offering any evidence of the defendant's purchase of bleach. I'm going to deny that motion filed by the defense. The court finds that this evidence is relevant to the facts of the case.
So what he did right there is the defense wanted him to exclude the evidence of him buying the bleach, which is the video, part of the video that we saw on yesterday. You know, when he went to Walmart in the wee hours before the store even opened to purchase 2 bottles of bleach. The defense wanted to keep that out. They didn't want that evidence in, but I think he just denied that request. So I'm thinking that evidence will be brought in. Okay.
May be confirmed by testimony of witnesses presented by the state, and the defense will have the opportunity to challenge the evidence through cross-examination. Next, the court addresses the defendant's motion to suppress that was filed on the same date, that being July 25th of this year. That motion is also denied. The court finds that this interview was not a custodial interrogation. Although the defendant's phone was removed from the room, it is clear from the video that he could have access to the phone. Even during the course of the interview.
So the defense wanted his interrogation video not to be used in court, and the judge denied it. Okay. Basically, the defense did not want that interrogation entered as evidence, but the court denied it, so it will be used or has been used as evidence.
His phone rang and the officer stated he did not need to answer that phone call. And as far as any control of his keys, that was not done until just moments before he requested an attorney. The fact is, the defendant voluntarily came to the police station. He was not summoned down about a child that had disappeared, and his efforts. The defendant was never confronted of any evidence of his guilt during the course of that interview, and at no time did the officer indicate he was not able to leave. He was even allowed to use the restroom, and was knocking on the door and was able to exit the room. Clearly, the officer was only trying to gather information. And once the defendant requested to speak with an attorney, the interview was completed and no further questioning. Next, this court will address the state's motion in limine that was filed on July 28th of this year. We'll address paragraph 5A, Roman numeral 1, that was previously granted at the previous hearing. Roman numeral 2, that motion will be also granted. The court does not find the relevance of this information. And if the defense may request the court to reconsider that upon how the case proceeds. Roman numeral 3, granted. The court again does not find the relevance of this information to the case, and there's no evidence that the defendant knew of this information prior to the incident in question. Paragraph 4, that motion is also granted. There's no relevance whatsoever to this case concerning that information or facts. Paragraph 5 and 6 is also granted. There's no support as to how this information is needed to address any credibility issues of that witness, and all the information or fact alleged in this matter. And also, in relation to all of those paragraphs, the court finds that there's no probative value in this, and it is only outweighed by the confusing of the issues in this case, possible wasting of time and undue delay. And paragraph C is also granted. Again, this information clearly would only confuse the issues during the course of this trial. The defendant only became aware of this information following his arrest as to the information that has been provided to this court at this time. And again, any probative value of this is outweighed by that confusion. The defense, of course, may renew these, may address the court and request that this information or facts be presented during the course of the trial based on the evidence presented at trial. I would ask each counsel, do you believe that all motions have been addressed at this time?
The state does believe all motions.
At this time, Ms. Cunningham, I'd ask that you read the trial information then.
In the Iowa District Court for Scott County, State of Iowa plaintiff versus Henry E. Deacons defendant. Criminal number FECR 415636, the trial information. Counts now Michael J. Walton as County Attorney of Scott County, State of Iowa, and in the name and by the authority of the State of Iowa, accuses Henry E. Deacons of the following crimes. Count 1, murder in the first degree. Said Henry E. Deacons, on or about the 10th day of July 2020, in the County of Scott and State of Iowa, did commit murder in the first degree, in violation of Section 707.2 of the Code of Iowa, by willfully, deliberately, and with premeditation kill B.T., as defined in Section 707.2, subparagraph 1A of the Code of Iowa, or did kill B.T. while participating in a forcible felony, to wit, kidnapping in the first degree, in violation of Section 707.2, subparagraph 1B of the Code of Iowa. Count 2, kidnapping in the first degree. The said Henry E. Deacons, on or about the 10th day of July 2020, in the County of Scott and State of Iowa, did confine or remove B.T. without authority or consent or by deception, with the intent to inflict serious injury or subject her to sexual abuse, and in so doing cause her death in violation of Section 710.2 of the Code of Iowa. A true information, Michael J. Walton, County Attorney. To these charges, the defendant has entered pleas of not guilty.
Thank you, Ms. Cunningham. You may proceed with your opening statement.
Your Honor, Mr. Garner is now able to join us, so I just ask her.
She may.
May it please the court, counsel, Mr. Deacons. Your Honor, the facts that you're going to hear about involve individuals who were involved in some type of family relationship. And initially what I'm going to do is I'm going to identify the various parties, describe the relationship that existed amongst the various parties, and from there then I'll walk through the facts of this particular case. Breasia Terrell, during the period of July, mother is Aisha Langford of CS, who was 13 during this period of time, and she had a younger brother by the name of.
Can y'all hear her? Y'all let me know, because I cut the music off and cut the visuals off. Can y'all hear her? Y'all let me know.
I can hear. I can hear.
You can hear her? Okay. Y'all let me know in the chat if y'all can hear her. All right, I don't see nobody responding in the chat unless I'm behind, but so I'll just let it keep playing. I'm behind. So yes, but we don't have to see her. Yes, we can hear her. Do they have the death penalty in the state? If so, are they requesting it? I'll look that up real quick. I will look that up. All right, here we go.
DL, who was 8 years of age. Henry Dinkins is the biological father of DL. He is not the biological father of Breasia Terrell, and he is not the biological father of the older boy, CS, who was 13 at the time. Aisha Langford is going to get on the stand, and she's going to testify that she met Henry Dinkins when she was around 18 or 19 years of age. And by virtue of the relationship that they had, she became pregnant, and that's when she had conceived DL. As far as describing the relationship that she had with Henry Dinkins over the course of DL's life, she will testify that he was not a father who was actively engaged in the child's life. He was not an individual who would spend a lot of time with his son. He was not an individual that his son would go visit on a regular occasion. In fact, he was not an individual who was actively providing regular support to the family. At any rate, with that being said, that takes us to the time frame of June of 2020. Now, during the summer of 2020, Aisha Langford will testify that, in fact, there was opportunities to spend time at an activity where Henry Dinkins was located at. There were cookouts that were taking place that would have happened during June of 2020. She and the children were participants in that cookout that Mr. Dinkins was responsible for putting on. And then during that period of time, Aisha Langford had the opportunity to meet a young woman by the name of Andrea Culberson. Andrea Culberson was a woman who was the girlfriend of Henry Dinkins, and she will testify that she had been involved in a 6-year relationship with Henry Dinkins. Now, Andrea Culberson, she lived over at the Jersey Meadow Apartments. The address is 2744 Jersey Meadow Apartments, number 8. And that was an apartment that she was sharing with Henry Dinkins. With the backdrop of what had occurred in June of 2020, Aisha Langford will testify that around July 8th, she was traveling in her car with her son, DL, and happened to see the defendant travel past them and pull into a quick shop. DL expressed an interest in wanting to spend some time with his father. That prompted Aisha Langford to pull into the quick shop, engage Mr. Dinkins in a conversation, and indicate to him that he needed to spend some time with his son. By virtue of that conversation, Mr. Dinkins indicated that he would take the child, for a few days and spend some time with him. And so arrangements had been made for him to call to come pick up DL. And the date that particular event played out was actually on July 9th of 2020. Now, Aisha was actively employed. She worked at the Checkers located on East Locust. And just for purposes of perspective, because this will become important later on in testimony, if you think of the area of where Sudlow Junior High is located at, there on Locust Street, and just about a half block down the street to the east, that's the Checkers that Aisha Langford worked at. She actually was working on the morning and afternoon of July 9th when Henry Dinkins had responded to her mother, Danita Gardner's residence to pick up Notorious. And relative to the plans that existed, the plans very simply were for Henry Dinkins to take his son and only his son. Aisha Langford will testify that while during her relationship, when she became pregnant with DL and Breasia was about 2 years of age, he was not a father figure to Breasia. Breasia had a different father. And so then when Henry Dinkins responded to Danita Gardner's residence somewhere around 11 o'clock that morning to pick up Detorius, the circumstances changed. To his sister Breasia, and quite honestly, they are attached at the hip to one another. Detorius expressed an interest for his sister Breasia, and I should say DL, excuse me, expressed an interest for his sister Breasia to come along. Ms. Gardner took the position that that was an issue that would need to be discussed with the children's mother once she got home. Breasia was very much interested in being able to go with her brother because it was going to be a fun outing. And actually, the 13-year-old boy, CS, expressed an interest in being able to go along as well. Henry Dinkins indicated that Breasia was welcome to come along, but he indicated that the 13-year-old boy, CS, could not come along, and the reason that he offered up for that was there was not enough room in his car for the 3 children. The day that he picked Detorius up and Breasia came along, he was operating a black Camaro, and that black Camaro had seating both for front seat passengers and back seat passengers. At any rate, Mr. Dinkins left the Gardner residence with DL and with Breasia, and Dinkins, and even information provided by DL, who was later interviewed through the Davenport Police Department. They both described going over to a residence that was a friend of Mr. Dinkins. This individual was identified as Vincent Howard, who lived on Taylor Street. They went over. There was time spent there at the Howard residence. Both of the children spent the afternoon playing video games. Mr. Dinkins left the residence for a period of time, came back, and then after they finished spending time there at the Howard residence, Mr. Dinkins took the 2 children over to 2744 on East 53rd Street to the apartment that he shared with Andrea Fulkerson. Now, at this point in time, I want to discuss the location of that apartment complex so that the court understands where it's located. On 53rd, we have Costco. The Jersey Meadow apartment complex is actually that apartment complex which is directly to the west of Costco. So it would be on the north side of the street. When Henry got back to the apartment complex, they all went inside. I think it's important to describe the layout of the apartment because that will be something that will become the topic of discussion later on. Apartment number 8 actually was a second level apartment. Now, this particular complex is not the type of apartment complex where you have, a common entryway and a common hallway that individuals would use to access apartments on a first floor or apartments on a second floor. In this particular apartment complex, each apartment has its own individual dedicated door for entry into the apartment. So that if you live in a second-story apartment, when you walk in that front door, you have a staircase inside the apartment that you take up to that second floor. Apartment number 8, if you enter that door, and on the right side of what would be that exterior wall would be the staircase. When you get to the top of the staircase, and then if you look over to the left, it's an open area that would consist of the living room, the kitchen, and dining room combination. There was only one bedroom in apartment number 8. And so the front door, if it's, to the one wall of the apartment, when you go up the stairs, just a little bit further to the left, and you go into that bedroom. In order to utilize the restroom in that apartment, that requires an individual to walk into that bedroom because the bathroom is only accessible through the bedroom. And that becomes another critical point that I'll talk about later in my opening statement. After Mr. Deacons and the children got back to the apartment, it was a normal evening. Andrea Culberson, Mr. Deacons' girlfriend, she works for AT&T, and she actually works out of around 7:30 that evening. While she was working, Briasia was very, very interested in the type of work that she was doing, and Ms. Culberson was showing her how she performed her responsibilities for AT&T. Detorius was playing video games in the living room. Andrea Culberson's desk where she works is set up in the bedroom. So Briasia was in the bedroom, and at some point in time, Briasia was playing video games as well, but within the bedroom. Now, one of the things that Andrea Culberson will speak to, and that DL may speak to, is the fact that Henry Dinkins was spending time in the bedroom with Briasia while she played video games. Andrea Culberson will testify that the three of them, herself, Mr. Dinkins, and Briasia were in the bedroom and they were playing games together. And that's essentially how the evening was playing out. Now, when Aisha Langford got off of work from Checkers late that afternoon, she had been notified by her mother that Henry Dinkins had taken Briasia. And so therefore, there would be the need to pack up clothes for the children. Aisha went back to the residence. She packed up a bag of clothing for Briasia, and she packed up clothing for Detorius, which would have included pajamas for both of the children. And I make that point for a reason, because that will become the subject of conversation as I proceed through my opening statement. Aisha responds to the apartment complex. This was not a complex that she was familiar with. She'd never been to the Culberson apartment before. At any rate, when she responded to the complex, she...
Now, I remember somebody saying, I don't know if it was you come correct yesterday or somebody in the chat or whatever, saying that the mom did not want Briasia at his house. But if she did not want Briasia at his house and she found out Briasia was there and she actually took clothes over there for Briasia, that's kind of weird. Like, if she didn't want Briasia there, why once she found out that Briasia was there, she didn't remove her? But yet she took clothes over there. So that's kind of weird, but okay.
Called to notify the parties that she was out in the parking lot, and Briasia came down to gather the clothing. Mom had the family pet with them, the dog. Briasia was really excited about it. In fact, Briasia wanted to take the dog with her up to the apartment. Mom had to call her back and say, no, the family pet's going home. But at any rate, it was one of those of give the clothes, love you, have a wonderful time. And then Aisha left with Briasia going back inside the apartment complex, or I should say apartment number 8 with clothing. After Aisha left the Jersey Meadow apartment, she took a right-hand turn on 53rd, so she's traveling west. The weather that night is also an issue that becomes very important to talk about, because as she was traveling north and got to the area of North High, there was a significant thunderstorm that broke out. And it was raining so hard that her windshield wipers would not keep up. So she had to pull over into a driveway and wait until the rain subsided before she went back to her apartment. And I believe she was staying with Anita Gardner. The family was in transition, and then they were moving back. She got back to the apartment, was very tired, having worked all day, took a bath, and very simply, she fell asleep on the couch, and she was out for the evening. some point, unbeknownst to her, the children, DL and Briasia, neither of which had cell phones that they could take with them to the Culberson apartment. She had received a telephone call from Henry Deacon's phone that was unanswered. And then the caller became very apparent because then there was a text message that came through from Briasia saying, "Good night, mommy, I love you." All that. So that was somewhere around 10, 11 o'clock in the evening. As far as how the evening played out at the Culberson apartment, leading up to bedtime, each of the children took back.
Now, this is the thing, serious. First of all, he at the time was not registered as a sex offender where he was staying or anything of that nature, because he eventually got locked up because he did not register. Now, whether or not Aisha, which is Briaja's mom, knew that this dude was a sex offender, I don't know. And this is the thing. I would hope and I would think that if she knew, first of all, I'm not gonna have no kids with you. Like, honestly, I'm not gonna, procreate. I'm not gonna do that. But she had a son with him. Briasia was not his, but she did have a son with him. So I don't know if she knew that he was a sex offender, because I just wouldn't think that a mother of a daughter, and just like I think I'm correct, it could have been fun. I don't remember. Someone, made the point yesterday in saying, we think about girls when it comes to that type of stuff, but the boys get it too, and that's true. But it would just blow my mind. Like, it would literally blow my mind if this woman, not only the grandmother, but Aisha, knew that this guy was a sex offender and allowed Briasia to stay in that home. Or even the young boy. Even though the young boy was his, I'm just saying, like, honestly, as a parent, as a mother, I don't see myself being cool leaving my children in the care of somebody that I know is a sex offender. I just wouldn't do it. It just wouldn't be no way possible. Absolutely not. I don't give a damn. You can be the daddy. I don't give a damn. You can be the mom. I don't give a damn. But yeah, he didn't register ebooks, and that's why he was locked up, because he did not register. But him registering doesn't necessarily say him not registering. Actually, doesn't necessarily mean that Aisha, Briaja's mother, did not know he was a suspect. I'm curious to know if this woman knew that this man was a sex offender. I am so curious to know that. My daughter would have never been allowed to spend the night with him. Never. He wasn't even supposed to be around him.
It happened back in the 90s, so he probably didn't tell her.
This was not the 90s. What are you talking about?
No, I'm saying, wasn't he convicted in the 90s? His sex offense charge was in the 90s.
Oh, you talking about him? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so he probably didn't tell her.
I don't think this woman would have allowed her baby to stay over there. No, I can't.
Baz, and they were fed some dinner, and then Notorious and Briasia were to sleep in the bed mattress that was out in the living room on the floor where she and Mr. Dinkins were to sleep. Breasia was the first one to go to bed. And from the living room, you could actually look through the door of the bedroom and you could see the bed. Because if you're standing at the doorway of the bedroom, very simply, you look forward and the bed is straight ahead of you. And then the headboard of the bed actually is right underneath a big window. That window actually looks out into the parking lot of the apartment complex, and that will become very important for later discussion.
Good morning, Detroit.
Good morning, ma'am.
How you feeling?
All right. I'll text you in a little while.
Who stole the red ball off your nose, sir? You have been fighting everybody on your community wall, G. Pipe down. You can't fight everybody.
Well, it's fun. Hey, do what I gotta do. That's why today only you get to get the fuck out of here for the price of one.
That's cute. I like that. So,
but wait, we'll throw in a side of Flex Seal for free.
There you go.
Not Flex Seal. So, Sirius says truth. In my opinion, I think she knew Love is Blind. These women need to do their research on these men, especially when you have children. Exactly, but you think she knew? I wonder had Breasia been to that house before because she had no problem wanting to go with her brother. I don't know if she had actually been there or not, Melissa. So, D-Truth, you got anything to add to this while we listening to day one testimony? Oh, actually, this is the prosecutor's opening statement. I guess not. He's on mute. All right, y'all stop me on the pound.
Sorry. I didn't.
Go ahead.
I forgot I was on mute. I think this is basically his defense knows he did it.
Really?
No one's admitting. They know he did it.
Oh wow. So what you think? What you think their defense is, though?
Maybe a lesser. Because once you figure out your client is guilty, you're just trying to throw doubt in there to try to get him a lesser sentence. That's your job. You may not be able to get him off, but you're trying to get the least amount of time.
Right. Yeah, that happens.
Yeah.
That absolutely happens. Yeah. So Sirius said, yes, truth. I think she did. She's not going to admit it. Wow. Well, I mean, my God, today, I would hate to think that she would get because now, because first of all, I wouldn't have had a child with a sex offender. Sorry, wouldn't happen. And then two, leaving my daughter as well as my son, which the son was his, Breasia wasn't. No, Melissa, but I'll look at it right now. I'll go look at it right now. But I can't imagine that woman knew that man was a sex offender and let her daughter. Because see, I think somebody said yesterday the mom didn't want her there, but she found out eventually that she was there and took her clothes over there. So she had to be okay with her being there. She had to be, So let's listen to some more, y'all.
Discussions that I want to have in my opening statement. So Breasia goes to bed first. Andrea Culberson lays down to go to sleep. Notorious, she can hear Mr. Dinkins say to him that he has so much time to play the video game and then he's going down to bed. And then Notorious was in the bedroom asleep. When Miss Culberson went to sleep, the last that she knew of Mr. Dinkins and his Miss Culberson is a very heavy sleeper. She'll testify to it. At 3 a.m. in the morning, she woke up because she needed to use the bathroom. When she woke up, she discovered that Mr. Dinkins was not there in the living room. That seemed odd to her. She got up, went into the bedroom. She noticed DL sleeping at the foot of the bed, but where little Briasia had fallen asleep, on the right-hand side and toward the top of the bed, there were simply the covers that had been folded over, and there was no child there. There was a sense of alarm. She went to the bathroom to use the bathroom, but she decided to get her glasses and put her glasses on to make sure that Briasia wasn't there. And Briasia was not there. Mr. Dinkins wasn't there, and Briasia wasn't there. Ms. Culberson will testify that she had a very uneasy feeling about that. Now at 3:30 a.m. in the morning, and this is a time specific because she had looked at a clock that was on her desk that said it was 3:30 in the morning, she heard Mr. Dinkins very quietly open the door and very quietly come up the stairs into the apartment. And she wanted to know where he was at and where Briasia was at. Mr. Dinkins wasn't really responding to questions other than just to say something very circumspect. He went into the bedroom, flipped on the light, and then went to his closet. Now, if we talk about the bedroom itself, when you're standing there in the doorway, on the left-hand side, that's when you would access the bathroom. And then again, there is a closet on that side. That was Miss Culberson's closet where she kept her personal belongings. On the right side of the bed, there was a closet where Mr. Dinkins kept his things. She will testify that Mr. Dinkins went to that closet. He was rummaging around through things. She's wanting to know where Briasia is at. He's rummaging through things. She happens to pull back the curtain to the window and looks out. And little Briasia is standing by a maroon Chevy Impala on the passenger side of the vehicle. Now, there are going to be three vehicles that the court's going to be hearing about. The maroon Chevy Impala, which was a vehicle that was used by Mr. Dinkins and Ms. Culberson. And then the black Camaro. The maroon Chevy Impala had characteristics that had become very important relative to investigations that was conducted by the Davenport Police Department. There were dark tinted windows on the Impala, and then on the trunk, on the right-hand side, there was a white sticker. On the front of the vehicle, in the area of the windshield, there was a front sticker. And so those characteristics were the characteristics used by law enforcement to identify that maroon Chevy Impala when steps were taken to identify locations that Henry Dinkins had traveled during the early morning hours of June 10th, and we're talking after midnight, and up to the period of noon when he presented himself to the Davenport Police Department. The black Camaro is also very distinctive in the sense that it has the face of a lion on both the driver's side of the vehicle and the passenger side of the vehicle, with king and queen noted in the area of where that lion's face is at. And then there's, that same type of design on the front hood of the Camaro. Those two vehicles remained parked and were 2744 East 53rd Street. Now, Mr. Dinkins also had a motorhome. This motorhome was located in an industrial area, actually in a fenced-in lot. And that lot belonged to a gentleman who owned Devon's, DEVON''S, self-storage. That mobile home, or RV if you will, just to give the court a perspective, I want the court to think about River Drive in the area where Credit Island is. And as you go along River Drive, heading west out of town, as you get past the ball diamond, you will get to an area that's very industrial. The court will picture where the Purina plant is located. Schmidt Road is a north-south street. It lies on the west side of the Purina plant. And just to help a little bit more, if you're traveling on 2nd Street, heading west, it turns into Rockingham. You will pass the Purina plant, and then if you were to take that first north-south road, actually turn south going down to River Drive, that's Schmidt Road.
Y'all know what? I'm gonna take a chance and cut the music off because I got her picture up. I'm gonna keep her picture up. So I'm gonna take a chance and cut the music off. I'm gonna take a chance and cut the music off and just leave her picture up. Okay.
Now, if you head out onto River Drive off of Schmidt Road, the distance from Schmidt Road to the entryway of Credit Island is about 400 meters. So it's very, very close. So that is going to be another vehicle and the location that we're going to be discussing. We're going back to that point in time that I was talking about where Andrea Culberson looks out the window so that the court understands where the maroon Chevy Impala comes into play. Breasia Terrell is standing along the passenger side of that maroon Chevy Impala. This raises another topic of discussion that will be discussed throughout the trial. After the children took their baths, they were not given their pajamas to wear. They were given large white t-shirts that belonged to Mr. Dinkins. And I don't remember, I think the large was like maybe, or the size was maybe like a 4XL. So rather than that child going into what would have been her pajamas, she had on a little pair of black shorts. We would later determine that she had on, one of those little sports bras that little girls wear, as they're developing, and this large white t-shirt. Andrea Culberson looks out. She knows there's no doubt it's Breasia because she had very distinctive braids, and the child was standing there. She couldn't see the child's face because the child wasn't facing her. Going back to Mr. Dinkins, as he's digging around in that closet, he collects something from the closet. She's not able to see what it is that he collects because it's secreted in his clothes. And then he leaves the apartment. Now, another important variable that will be discussed is this. Mr. Dinkins' cell phone was located by Andrea in the apartment at 3 o'clock. Because when she noticed that he was gone, she noticed that Breasia was gone, she went to call him. The phone wasn't being answered. And then she discovered his cell phone, and it was plugged in and being charged up. When he left at 3:30, he did not take that cell phone. That becomes very important because cell phones are devices that can be utilized to gather location information for where that phone is at, and whoever is in possession of that phone, then that will identify the location of that individual. So that cell phone was still back there at the apartment. Mr. Dinkins leaves. Andrea is very unsettled. Notorious at some point is waking up and he's crying. I should say DL, I'm sorry. She brings the child into the living room to lay down. And then shortly after sunrise, with this being July and sunrise is at about 5:30 in the morning, in terms of what law enforcement has been able to put together by way of a timeline, somewhere around 5:45 as an estimate, Mr. Dinkins returns to the apartment. He comes up. He's very, very frazzled. Ms. Culberson wants to know what's going on. He said, there's issues. I'll talk with you about it later. Where's Breasia? There's no Breasia. Mr. Dinkins then gathers up DL and goes to leave with a bag of the child's clothes. He goes to leave without his cell phone. Ms. Culberson tells him he needs to take his cell phone. At that point, he takes it, and then he leaves the apartment complex. Ms. Culberson then realizes that there's another bag of the children's clothing left behind, and she calls him to come back. He returns, and then she goes down to the maroon Chevy Impala. Breasia is not in the car. Notorious is in the car, Mr. Dinkinson is in the car, but Breasia is not in the car. So then she goes back up to the apartment. I'm going to describe this as an area that became critical to the investigation, because anywhere that Mr. Dinkins was located, law enforcement, in terms of their investigation to try and locate this child, did major canvassing. That canvassing consisted of knocking on all of the doors there at the apartment complex, checking apartments there, if residents weren't home, to come back and check, to search garages there, to search the dumpsters, there we go, and just to search an entire area behind the apartment complex, because that's still a dedicated field area where there's a huge tree line and there's a creek, and the canvas went all along that area toward more like 74. It extended out to Eastern, to the west, and then from 53rd, it extended to the south quite a ways to see if there was any indication anybody had seen that child anywhere. Had she wandered off? Discussions were had with Aisha and Danita about whether or not Breasia was the type of child who would wander off. Breasia is a child who has a hearing issue. She is a child who has a sight issue. She is a child that never wanders off. And Aisha will testify that little Breasia was a rule follower. And if somebody broke the rules, she was somebody who would tell on her brothers. The apartment complex was not a complex that she was familiar with. She'd never been there. She didn't have friends who lived there. Plus, the child was described as a very, very heavy sleeper, much like her mother and the two boys. Nothing's happened, all right? So now, we know that that's what the landscape looks in that area. By virtue of canvassing, law enforcement was also looking for any locations where there was video surveillance. Video surveillance was located at the Quick Start on 53rd. So that will lie between Jersey and Eastern. It's on the north side of the street. Between 550 and going up to the 6 o'clock hour. That maroon Chevy Impala travels west past the Quick Start. That maroon Chevy Impala is then identified from video surveillance at a residence on Judson Court, which actually the video surveillance camera was focused out on Eastern. So the rear of that residence faced Eastern. So the maroon Chevy Impala is traveling north on Eastern between 5:50 and 6 o'clock. Then that maroon Chevy Impala is seen traveling south on Jersey Ridge, and then the connection between those two streets would be Veterans Memorial Parkway. That's how you would access it. So it's seen traveling south. It correlates with what Ms. Culberson says of Henry Deakins returning to pick up that second bag of clothes, and then that vehicle then is seen from a residence over there in the area of Jersey Ridge, traveling back north. At this point, I'm going to focus on the narrative relative to Notorious, or DL. So DL will testify that he and his father went somewhere out of town and they drove for a while. And then his father went to a Walmart store. DL noticed that his father had taken the battery out of the cell phone. And the child put the battery back into the phone so he could play a video game. That becomes a very critical moment in time, because when law enforcement became immersed in their investigation and was trying to ascertain the locations that Mr. Dinkins had traveled to, there was that ping in the area of Comanche, Clinton, and it was hitting on a cell phone tower that would be in the vicinity of the Walmart in Clinton. We're still telling the narrative relative to Notorious. When his father then comes out of Walmart, the child takes the battery out of the phone so he wouldn't get in trouble. They travel to different places. And then the child, once he was interviewed during the afternoon of June 10th, he was interviewed by Detective Hammis. Left the Davenport Police Department, his mother, who had been interviewed that afternoon. And then they started to travel to see if the child could identify locations. He had been with his father when they came back to Davenport. Now, to assist in that process, the following events occurred. Aisha Langford was not scheduled to work in the morning at Checkers. However, before 8 a.m., her boss called her and indicated that somebody wasn't able to come to work. Could she come on down and work the morning shift? And so she did. So she got down there around 8 o'clock, may have clocked in about 8:04. Aisha Langford had received some type of text, and the telephone records will tell us the sequence of events, from Henry Deakins' cell phone. She will testify that she tried getting a hold of him. It wasn't happening, so she very simply sent a text, "Call me, I'm not going to, keep trying to make contact." At 8:08 a.m., there is now location information available for that phone. And that phone is hitting on cell phone towers down in the area of River Drive. So, if you go out Brady toward Clinton, you're traveling north on Highway 61. When you take the exits to go into Clinton, that's Highway 30. If you come back to Davenport, you're traveling south on 61. And then, of course, you have the ability to catch I-80 heading west. That will allow you to access Highway 280 that runs along the western border of Davenport, driving toward Rock Island. And then you can access River Drive from that area. During this time frame, there was construction there on River Drive. So then the cell phone, in terms of where it was hitting in the area of Concord and up to Rockingham. So Concord essentially would be, it winds a bit, but technically we'll call it a north-south street. And then it would access Rockingham, which would be our east-west street. Henry Dinkins' cell phone powers up. He makes the telephone call to Aisha. He tells her he has just woken up and Briasia's gone from the apartment. Aisha becomes very upset. This makes no sense. She wants to know if he has reported this to the police department, and he said that he was heading there at that time. Aisha Langford believed he was heading to the police department, and then by virtue of that cell phone activity, that then formed the basis for canvassing that was done down in that area to search for Briasia and also to look for locations where there was video surveillance that would tell the story. So I'm going to take that, I'm going to set that aside, and I'll come back to that. Aisha is hysterical. She's at work, she's crying. She will testify that her employer told her, go ahead and leave work. And then so she left Checkers to head down to the Davenport Police Department. When she pulled onto Locust Street, she headed west to go downtown. As she's heading west on Locust Street, she sees Henry Dinkins in that maroon Chevy Impala driving at an extremely high rate of speed heading east. And she can see that Detorius is in the car. She does a U-turn. She's coming up behind him as close as she can get. She's honking on that horn to get his attention, to get him to pull over. Henry Dinkins then turns left or heads north on Eastern. And she will testify that she was right up on that bumper. Henry Dinkins then pulls in to the McDonald's. And for purposes of perspective, think of the high V there on East Kimberly Road. And that sits at the back of the lot. McDonald's is there toward the front of Kimberly Road. They pull in there. She wants to know what the heck is going on. She tells Detorius, come on, you're not going to lose this child. You've already lost one of my children. And she grabs his things and wants to know what Henry is doing in this area. Mr. Dinkins tells her that he doesn't know the address for the apartment where he lives, and so he has to travel out to Jersey Meadow Apartments to get that address so that then he has that to report to the police. She follows him to that apartment complex. So I'm going to change direction relative to the events. When Aisha Langford was at work, she called the Davenport Police Department. Well, actually, she called 911 first. She spoke with the dispatcher who directed her to the general number at the Davenport Police Department. So she calls that general number and she speaks with communication specialist Mona Borelli. She's telling Mona what's going on. She said Mr. Dinkins should be there right now. Mona Borelli indicates that he is not there. She said his car has got to be out there. It's got to be either, a maroon Chevy Impala or this black Camaro. Ms. Borelli indicates it's not out there. And that's what had prompted her to leave work and head down to the police department. That call comes in at 8:29. Communications specialist Borelli will testify.
Miss Margie, I get it. I understand, sweetheart, if you need to sit it out. I get it, Miss Margie. I understand. I totally understand, okay? So it's okay. All right, let's continue, y'all. For those that's just joining, this is the opening statements from the state against Henry Dinkle.
That this isn't the typical call that they get where mom and dad can't find the child and the police go out, they're hiding in a closet or in a bed or somewhere. This one didn't feel right, and she was very concerned because she felt that there was going to be a very bad outcome. The station supervisor, Officer Burkle, was dispatched out to the Jersey Meadow apartments. Henry is there at the apartment complex. Aisha is there at the apartment complex. And the state will introduce Mr. Burkle's body-worn camera. His initial contact is with Aisha. And he's trying to collect just, biographical information, age, physical descriptors, date of birth, that type of thing. And she is reporting to him what has happened. Then in the background, you see Henry Dinkins wander up, and Officer Burkle says, hey, look, do you mind if I go into the apartment to check? Because oftentimes, the child is hiding somewhere where the parent, doesn't realize where they're at. I just had this situation last week with my own child, and we typically find the child. Mr. Dinkins wants to say he already searched the apartment and the child isn't there. Officer Burkle says, I'd still like to check. So then Mr. Dinkins indicates it's not his apartment, and that essentially Officer was going to have to get the permission of Andrea Culberson. Aisha becomes very upset because she is not buying into what Henry Dinkins is saying, and she takes Notorious and she leaves. She goes back to her house and she's looking for some type of card that had Briasia's picture on it that had been taken at school. So while she's doing that, Officer Burkle knocks on apartment number 8. Andrea Culberson comes down. He indicates that, he'd like to come in and check that oftentimes children are hiding in places. Andrea Culberson looks out. She sees Henry Dinkins standing a little bit down the sidewalk. She says, is it okay with him? And then Henry Dinkins leaves. Andrea Culberson allows Officer Burkle to go in there and look for Briasia. She's not there. Officer Culberson, Officer Burkle starts to check the area, and there's nothing that's indicating Briasia's anywhere in the area. He calls his supervisor, Sergeant Willie. We have other patrol officers who come out. They start checking the area. This situation is not feeling right. And so then the Detective Bureau is contacted, and then we have massive resources that are coming out. And there is a huge canvas that's conducted along that area with nothing showing up for Briasia. Now, let's go back down to River Drive. With the cell phone hitting off the tower when that conversation occurred between Aisha and Henry at 8:08, there was video surveillance showing his maroon Chevy Impala traveling past the high V. There was video surveillance from Purina. Their feed. Devon's self-storage is a motion-activated video system. There was the vehicle captured by virtue of movement being triggered. And then in that same area, there is Jack's brake and alignment. There was video feed that showed Mr. Dinkins' vehicle traveling on Schmidt Road toward the area of River Drive. And then, based on information provided by Notorious, when Detective Hammis, Detective Obert, and Aisha left the station, Torres had been talking about going to the RV with his father, where his dad had this knife that he'd gone down to the river, and he'd walked down into the river and he'd been wiping off of the cloth. And they went back to the RV. There was an image of Mr. Dinkins with Latoya standing there at the door of the RV. And so there was video feed that captured all of that movement that the child had identified. All right. So now Credit Island is going to be the subject of investigation, as will be the RV. So I'm just going to stop right there, and now I'm going to jump over to the Clinton area and discuss that. By virtue of the child DL putting the battery into the phone, and with that ping, there was a canvas done along Highway 30. And actually there was a canvas done along Highway 61. The maroon Chevy Impala is captured on DOT video surveillance cameras at mile marker 124 heading north toward Clinton around 6:11 in the morning. Then on Highway 30, as you travel east into Clinton, that what would be Posh Farms, P-A-A-S-C-H. That vehicle then is captured at First State Central Bank, which is adjacent to the Walmart on the west side of the business. And then video surveillance from Walmart captures Mr. Dinkin pulling into the parking lot. He goes up to the store. It's not 7 o'clock a.m. It's locked. He comes back to the vehicle, but then he goes back. He enters at, say, 7 a.m. And then video surveillance footage inside the store shows him buying 2 bottles of Clorox. Not the gallon-sized bottles, but more of the narrow bottles. The court's going to be hearing testimony from various forensic analysts and individuals from the DCI laboratory, our criminals. And one of the things that the court will hear about is that Clorox is a product that will destroy DNA. Those 2 bottles of Clorox are being purchased, and then by virtue of that canvas, we have a time frame from First State Central Bank where Mr. Dinkins is leaving, a time frame for when he passes Posh Farms, and then actually in the area of Highway 61 and 30, there's a DeWitt Travel Center. There's a time frame captured there. Law enforcement will testify that they did a time calculation traveling from mile marker 124 to the Walmart, going the speed limit. They're going to tell you what that time frame would be. The trip out was longer than that, but the trip back had even 5 more minutes. Let's take that, let's set that aside. Now we're going to talk about the discovery of Briage's remains. On March 22nd of 2021, 3 gentlemen, friends, decided to go fishing on the evening of March 22nd. Located just further north of the Highway 30 exit into Clinton. So if you travel 5 miles further north, you exit onto what would be 212th Street. This is a rural area. Kunow Implement is a farm implement business that sits right there on 212th Street. And 212th then turns into 210th. So the business actually faces, the front of the business faces north, basically on 212, 210. It's on a pie-shaped piece of property. So would run along Highway 61 and what we would think of as the old Highway 61. It's 218. On the east side of the property, and that would be that north-south road, that's 270th Avenue. So you've got 212th, 218th, and 217th, and basically it feeds down where 218th and 270th meet. To the south of Kunow Implement, there is a heavily wooded area. And within the backside of that property, there is a pond. You can access that pond from 270th. There is basically just a dirt road that's got a very steep incline because Kunow Implement sets up much higher. The pond is further down. That roadway, you will hold testimony, is very steep, and for a car to pull down in there would be very difficult, probably get stuck. When the three gentlemen went to go fishing, they were walking down that steep incline, having parked their pickup trucks up on the road. And because we're talking about March 22nd, there's no vegetation. One of the gentlemen looks over to what would be his right as he's walking down, looks to the north essentially, and he sees a human skull. He points it out to his two friends. They go over and check, and sure enough, it is a human skull, and there are skeletal remains. One of the things that the gentleman noticed is that there is black hair consistent with a black individual. Because Breasia Terrell and her having been missing was so highly publicized, the gentleman will testify that at some point they made the connection. Is this Breasia Terrell's remains? The Clinton County Sheriff's Department was contacted. They come out, the scene is cordoned off, and then essentially the notifications go to the Davenport Police Department. Throughout the entirety of this investigation, you had Davenport Police involved, you had the FBI involved, you had the Iowa DCI involved, we had multiple agencies from like Clinton Police Department, Clinton County Sheriff's Department, and just citizens in the community who would come out and donate time, just helping to do canvases in areas. And then so that area then was processed the next morning with a Dr. Heather Garvin. She's an anthropologist associated with the State Medical Examiner's Office. And because we were dealing with skeletal remains, she was brought in. There was the local medical examiner. Those remains were recovered, sent to the State Medical Examiner's Office. One of the things that the court will hear testimony about is that one of the little legs still had mummified tissue on it. And so then there was the process of trying to develop DNA through that mummified tissue. However, they ended up using bone marrow. They could identify that body as being a female child of Aisha Langford because there was no DNA for Breasia, but because a child takes half of their mother's DNA, half of their father's DNA, they could say this was a female child of Breasia. And then Breasia, because of her dental visits, they were then able to get her dental records, and then with the collection of teeth, put that all together. And there was so the court's going to be hearing about that and everything associated with that recovery. And then on April 3rd, during the recovery of the body, this is what was discovered. And during the examination of little Breasia's body by the anthropologist and the State Medical Examiner's Office, she had been shot through the jaw. The bullet had traveled to the area of her C3 and C4. She had been shot in her back scapula. And then within.
Wait a minute. So, you know what? Let me go out and come back in right quick before I ask you this, D2, because my StreamYard is frozen on my laptop. But I'll be right back. I gotta
Okay. Have you guys seen what I've been putting in the chat? Trey, have you seen it?
No, I have not.
Okay, so Dinkins was convicted, then 18, pleaded guilty to third-degree sexual abuse in the 1990 in connections with a
Wait a
sexual
minute,
abuse.
hold on, because we gotta do a timeline here, because I'm confused, and the more y'all type in the chat, I get more confused. So this is the thing.
Mhm.
So we've heard about the 1990 incident, right?
Mhm.
So now you're saying there was a 2020 incident of where he was locked up and he got released on parole
For
Listen.
violation.
Okay, so he
He was within 200 yards of a school.
Okay.
Meaning
So-
his apartment was 200 or 2,000 feet of a school.
Okay, so listen. How old is the little boy? Because if all this is going on, right, and this is what I'm getting to, if all this is going on, like if he's violating and going back to prison and being released, and in the midst of all that, he has that little boy with Aisha's Breasia's mother, then that means she had to have known what his history was. Because I mean, if your baby daddy get locked up on a probation or parole violation, and he goes to prison and he's released, I mean, don't you think she would have known what he had gone to prison for? Because let's be clear, Breasia was 11. I'm not sure how old the little boy was.
I could try and
I think if I'm not mistaken, somebody said like 8 or something, 8, but I'm not for sure. But he's younger than Breasia, right? So this is the thing. And
now
if he went in and out of prison on violation, or even went back to prison on a violation as recent as 2020, then she had to have known what he had been to prison for.
he wasn't supposed to move into her apartment. And he lived in that apartment building. His release on the 1990 thing, the registry said he was forbidden from being around children. And the reason they said he's forbidden to be around children was because the victim was 5. And he was 17. She had to have known because he just got out of jail March of 2020.
I feel sick. I like to me, honestly, y'all, I feel like a lot of things and a lot of people are disgusting to me as far as these crimes and these crimes that being committed. But to me, honestly, there's nothing more disgusting to me than a mother who don't protect their child against something like this. Like, I'm not blaming this mother. I can never blame her. I know she's hurting. I cannot, but I cannot judge her. But how do you allow your baby girl, your 11-year-old daughter, to spend the night with a registered or supposed to be registered sex offender, and you know he's a registered? Like, who does that?
Well, they rearrested him in the beginning before they charged him with this offense. They had already reregistered.
Yeah, he was locked up while they
Yes.
were searching for her. Like, literally, he was locked up on that violation.
Because he wasn't supposed to be there. He was not supposed to be in the apartment with that child, with
And
either of those children.
Why come her mother didn't know that, like, the truth? So this means that, I mean, just, I don't know for facts that the mama knew, but if the man had just recently been released for a violation, you mean to tell me you don't know what he went back to prison on a violation for, and you got a child about him?
I'm believing he moved in when he was released.
Oh God.
which to me, I think they failed because he would have had to give them. Well, they're saying he lived in,
Well, no, I
in
think
the
he did not
complex.
give that address of the girlfriends because when the cops was questioning him about that, he pretended like he didn't know the address. He said that he didn't really stay at that address. He was just there. And hold on, let me answer this call. Go ahead and call this one.
I mean, you should. That's why I don't understand. She had a child with him, so she had dealings with him before this. So she had to have known about this, unless he kept this from her. I mean, we're talking about 20 years earlier he did this, but from what I've looked at and what I've seen is they're actually looking into other cases or trying to see if there is other cases that are similar to this. I mean, understand what he did was as a 17-year-old. He did that to a 5-year-old, which is the equivalent of what he just did right now. At 17, he should have been locked up and not released because I don't know how he even basically got off from that. But the law says that there's two different standards: a child 13 and under, 0 to 13, and then there's 14 and to 16. And then when they get to 14 to 16, it's how many years difference are you from the 17-year-old? I mean,
all right, I'm back. I'm back.
I don't
this
know.
goes back to, and I can't remember who said it. I can't remember if it was somebody on the panel or somebody in the chat that stated that the mama didn't want Breasia going over there. I remember that because I kept asking. I think it was Come Correct. And I kept asking if the mom didn't want her over there, how did she end up over there? So my thing is this, like, if the mom didn't want her over there was a reason why the mom didn't want her over there. But the thing about it is, like, once the mom found out, once she got, cause see the Breasia and the son was with the grandma. Deacons picked them up from the grandma, right? The mom was at work, right? So, but the thing about it is, like, once she got out of work and the grandma let her know that they were over there and that they needed clothes, according to this lady, the prosecutor, Aisha, who's the mom, took clothes over there to them. So she knew that Breasia was there. But if she didn't want Breasia there, why was it okay for her to be there so much as that she took her clothes over there? Like, I'm like,
So the Pauline says the way she walked away from the police when they initially reported that the baby missing spoke volumes. It could be. I mean, there's no possible way that she didn't know.
I'm gonna find. I'm gonna find it. Hold on. Go ahead and keep talking on D2. I'm gonna find it.
But there's no part. He was just paroled. He had to give an address. He basically couldn't give the address, her address, because she has a child in their home, and they would see that because they would say, okay, when you're a registered sex offender, you give an address, and if they they believe that you can't be at school, but you definitely can't move in somewhere that a little child lives. So they look at the lease to see who's on that lease. But what I read was he he also lived in that complex. But then they said he moved in with the mother. I mean, he's been in and out of jail. He was arrested, uh, possession of a controlled substance with intent to deliver, and that was July of 2020. That's what he just got paroled on. So in the 2020 parole was because he was in possession of a controlled substance. So that's what he went to jail for. But he also had violations, dozens of charges, serious, some minor. He was also charged with murder through police. Eventually dropped those charges, but he's actually a witness, according to the. So he's been in and out of jail the entire time. I'm trying to see. Of course, the mother denies that she knew anything. This is strange. I was with Dinkins, and then I found out about him. He was weird, and then he went to prison. There have been a lot of rumors and a lot of things said on social media. Was with her brother. He was visiting his father. I never imagined I would be here talking about this. I believe he knows something about what happened with my daughter. I think my daughter is alive, and I think she's still a matter of time before Dinkins is ready to crack and tell what he knows. That's what I honestly believe. So she believed he had something to do with it.
Okay, so this is the body cam footage where what the person whoever that was in the chat talked about the mom. Let's watch this again, y'all, right quick. It's only 12 minutes long.
Your mom? Yeah. Okay. How do you spell it?
AISHIA.
Last name?
Langford, LA. NK FORD.
Date of birth?
8/28 of 1991.
Address?
614 West 63rd Street, apartment number 1.
Phone number?
563.
Yep.
676 4247.
Okay. And Henry lives here.
Yeah, I guess so. This is where he told me to come.
Okay.
He don't even know how long she's even been gone.
Yeah. What's your daughter's name?
Breasia, BREA.
EA.
SIA.
Oh, hold up.
BREASIA.
1 second.
Sorrel, TER.
Hold up. You heard what she just said, right? I think so. This is where he told me to come.
But didn't she come the night before to bring clothes?
The answer she just gave the police was, I think so. If I'm wrong, did I not hear her say, I think so? This is where he told me to come?
Yeah, and listen, this is not right. Hold on.
EA.
EA.
SIA.
BREASIA.
Yes.
Okay.
Terrell. TERRELL.
Okay. What's your middle initial?
D.
Her date of birth?
12/4/09.
Okay. What's up, Henry? So
All
when
right,
was
so
the last time you?
Wait a minute, I gotta go
there's
back
the
a little
boy.
bit.
So there's the boy.
Wait a minute, gotta go back a little bit for that. What you?
Yeah, yeah, for her to say what she said.
Yeah, let me go back.
Yeah, I guess so. This is where he told me to come.
And Henry lives here.
Yeah, I guess so. This is where he told me to come.
Okay.
He don't even know how long she's even been gone.
Yeah. What's your daughter's name?
Breasia. BREA.
EA.
SIA.
BREASIA.
Yes.
Okay.
Terrell. TERRELL.
Okay. What's your middle initial?
D.
Her date of birth?
12/4/09.
Okay. What's up, Henry? So when was the last time you saw her?
She was in the house.
Yeah, when was the last time you saw her?
9:30.
Last night?
9:30.
Okay. Okay.
With him.
Okay. When was the last time you saw her?
She was in the bed when I woke up this morning.
She was in the bed?
Yeah.
When you went to bed last night? Okay.
This is crazy, man. This is like, you know what I'm saying? I know she fucking going fucking hysterical, big brother.
Yeah. DIN.
KINS.
Wait a minute, play that again.
Your date of birth, Henry?
August 2nd.
Did he say she was in the bed with him last night or this morning? The little kid.
Yeah, I think he said last night.
I couldn't make it out if he said last night and this morning.
The bed last night? Okay. When was the last time you saw her?
She was in the bed when I woke up this morning.
He said she was in the bed, and when I woke up, she was gone. Hold on.
Is that what he said?
Yeah. He said she was in the bed, and when I woke up, she was gone. All right, listen.
She was in the house.
Yeah, when was the last time you saw her?
9:30.
Last night?
9:30.
Okay. Okay.
With him.
Okay. When was the last time you saw her?
She was in the bed when I woke up this morning.
She was in the bed?
Yeah.
When you went to bed last night? Okay.
This is crazy, man. This is like.
Yeah, and he said she was in the bed, and when I woke up, she was gone. Yeah.
Now they have him on surveillance at 4:30 in the morning.
I know. Well,
So-
we've heard. Yeah.
Yeah, some guy pulled him out of a ditch at 4:30 in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
and the guy says, "I didn't see anyone else in the car."
Mm-hmm.
And that guy has passed away.
I know. They say Ebrook, did he get a chance to testify, Ebrook?
No, they have his witness.
No, that was Candy. I think they put that in the chat. Did he get a chance to testify? Because he just like passed away like a couple of days ago or something.
Yeah, somewhere around that. But they have it. They read his statement into the record.
Oh, okay. Then.
So they read his statement into the record, and the only reason that they could read his statement into the record was because they have other evidence that shows him in the area.
Yeah, they got camera. They got camera.
They have his vehicle. They also have him at the store.
Mm-hmm. At Walmart. We watched all that yesterday.
Yeah. So he there is other evidence that proves what he's saying is true. So they could read into it. Normally, because they can't cross-examine him, they wouldn't allow it. But there's other evidence that proves what he's saying is true, and that any cross-examination would not matter because they have other evidence to show
to support it.
Yeah, to support what he's saying.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's finish watching it so we can get back to the trial.
Like, you know what I'm saying? I know she fucking going fucking hysterical.
Your date of birth, Henry?
August 2nd, 72.
Is this your home address?
No.
What's your address?
It's down by Boston Arena.
I just
know that.
I don't know your address?
I don't know the full address.
Do you know your phone number?
Hell no, I don't know that either. I swear to God, I don't.
Henry, you don't know where your daughter is, you don't know your address, and you don't know your phone number.
No, for real. I'm finna
So,
give it to you now. You think I'll be lying, but
well, no, it's just it's kind of.
I don't call myself.
I know, but you got to know your number. You got to know your address. So this is
Boy
your
trying to get in the
girlfriend's
car.
address? Okay.
Okay, here go my phone number here.
So he
Okay,
doesn't
what
live
was she
here.
last wearing?
In the bed.
What you have on, some shorts?
What color?
I don't remember. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you.
What's her height and weight, you think?
She's a little taller than he is.
She's just
Okay.
She's a little taller than that. She's probably about like this.
Okay. What's her hair look like?
She has dreads. Long.
Dreads.
Long.
Long and dreads hair?
Yep.
Like shoulder length or
Down.
middle of the back?
Down here.
Okay. Mid back, dreads. Right? Is that how we would label that?
Yes.
So why is the mother way over there?
She had shorts on.
Did she still have a white shirt on?
She had she had the shirt that you gave her.
The white shirt.
All white?
All white t-shirt, yep.
And you guys don't have alarms or anything on your doors if the door's open?
No.
Okay.
You should get one. You should get one.
And
Talking about getting one.
listen, I know this sounds dumb. I've lost my kids too.
Right.
Okay. Actually, mine just happened last week, and we went back in and we found them in the bedroom.
No, we just searched.
Okay. I'm going to ask you to who have you called? What doors have you knocked on?
I don't know these people out here.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But I called her.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And she told me she was at work. At first, I was riding around looking. And then me and my son started riding around looking.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And then
So how long ago has it been? An hour?
It's been a couple hours.
Couple hours?
Couple hours.
Okay.
Couple hours.
Have we called grandmas? Have we called cousins?
That's what I just asked. She the one. I don't know all that. She knows all that.
She called my grandma already.
She
Okay.
knows all that, not me.
Okay. Do we have a picture?
She does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mom.
Yeah. She got the picture, bro.
Who's the girl that lives here? Andrea? What's Andrea's last name? Culberson.
He need a picture of her.
You don't have nothing with you right now. Okay, that's fine. Have we called family?
I've called everybody. I have my
Okay.
uncle out riding around. My mom's on her way out here. My
We've been
friends on their
everywhere.
way out
We've
here.
been every fucking way.
And she's gonna be with a friend inside some apartment.
That's
most
why
likely.
I said I'm gonna still look.
Okay.
We don't know anybody out here. Though. That's the
Yeah.
thing.
Okay.
She would have never.
How many?
She would have never. First of all, she would have never woke up at 8 o'clock in the morning. She would have never.
What you mean? 8 o'clock in the
I'm
morning.
just saying.
That ain't what I
She
said. I
definitely
never
would-
said.
I know
Okay,
you
guys,
didn't say that.
this isn't the time to fight.
Exactly.
Hold on, y'all. 1 minute.
Okay, so she suspects him.
Know anybody out here? Though. That's the
Yeah.
thing. She would have never.
How many?
She would have never. First of all, she would have never woke up at 8 o'clock in the morning. She would have never.
What you mean? 8
She
o'clock
would,
in the
I'm
morning.
just saying.
That ain't what I
She
said. I
definitely
Hey, guys, this isn't the time to fight.
Exactly. I don't give a fuck about you walking, nigga. You lost her though.
How did I fucking lose?
Because you was watching her, Henry. What the fuck do you mean?
But hey,
I'm gone, sir. Come on, D.
listen to me. Well, you guys gotta come together right now. This isn't a time to fight about it. Okay. So, well, hey, if
this is strange.
Wait a
Very,
minute.
very
Wait a
strange.
minute. Wait a minute. Let me say this. No judgment. No judgment. No judgment. Just me. There's no way that I will leave from over there where my daughter disappeared from. I don't give a fuck how mad I get at him. I'm there. I'm looking around. I'm searching. I'm knocking on doors. You know what I'm saying? You already called the family. The family says she's not with them. She disappeared from this spot, like these apartments. This is where she disappeared from. Why do you leave? Like, how do you leave without your daughter or trying to find your daughter and she disappeared from those apartments? Where do you think she is? Why are you leaving?
So wait, whose apartment is she at?
She's at. Listen.
Another woman's house?
Listen. Henry Dinkle, so-called, he speaks in circles, so you never know what's true. I think it's his girlfriend, but he's saying she's a friend. It's her apartment. Her name is Andrea something.
Yes, that's what I heard.
Apartment. It's her apartment. Now he claims he doesn't stay there. He claims he doesn't stay there, which probably got something to do with the whole registry thing and all of that thing. But he claims he doesn't stay there, but yet he brings his son and Breasia there to spend the night there with him. And the Andrea lady. If you don't stay there, how are you bringing your kids there to spend the night? But he said he don't stay there. But my thing is, this is where your daughter disappeared from. You see how many apartments out there? You see all that area that can be searched like now, like right in the now, to see if your daughter is somewhere around. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you leave the cops? How do you leave the cops that's been called to help you find your daughter? How do you leave that? How do you leave the scene? How do you leave the scene? Now I know she's upset. She's upset with him because, believe it or not, like you said, she knows he had something to do with it. She knows. All right, let's finish listening to this so we can get back. We got like 6 minutes.
How am I supposed to? What do you want me to do?
I got that. You see how she stepped on me? You know
I mean,
I
got no picture. I got no. What do you want me to do?
What am I supposed to do?
Right. I get it, Henry. I get.
And that's another thing. Didn't she leave without giving the cops a picture?
She did. She says she didn't have one. First off, he doesn't know his address, so he's living
Wait a minute,
here.
repeat that, YouTube. I went out. She what?
She doesn't have a picture of her on a picture of the daughter on her.
On her phone? She don't have a picture of her on her phone?
I can't explain it.
Oh, you can't explain it because you take mine right now, and I just got a new device, baby. You're going to find grandbabies, a daughter, my son, my parents.
I can't explain it why she doesn't have a picture of her own daughter in her phone. But here's the thing. He doesn't know his address. He lives here with that woman. Because why are they not at your house? Why are they at some woman's house?
That's my point.
Where's the woman?
Oh, you're gonna see the one. Well, you missed a lot yesterday.
I must have because first.
Okay, you know what? I'm all about it. We ain't got number time on this. So after this, I'm gonna show. If this is not the video, I'm gonna pull up the video where they actually went into the house, and I want you to determine for me how this woman is acting and what you think. Let's get through this.
There's no possible way that the woman is not out here with him answering the same questions because
wait a minute, you're thinking too far ahead and you haven't seen the other video.
Okay, all right, okay.
out there with him. She's in the apartment. She's in the apartment.
That's what I'm saying. She should be out here with him. The girl disappeared from your apartment.
Absolutely. 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 I think this may be the video where he goes to the apartment, but if not, I'm gonna find it. All right. Okay, so let's listen.
Get it. I get
All
it.
I can do is look.
I get it, Henry. Apartment one more time. Look, this happens more often than you think. We just, I mean, well, I understand why she's upset. But when I'm trying to help, she can't run away from me. I don't want to
deal with the issue.
Yes.
You got to keep your level head.
Yeah.
You know that. I learned that a long time ago. Fuck, man.
104 and 105.
How many times have you guys stayed out here?
How many times have I been out here? The kids, this is their first time.
Oh, it's the very first time she's ever stayed here. And so she has
over here, but they never stayed.
She has never stayed here. So I wonder just.
Okay, did you see him reach for a key? Did you see him look down his hand and reach for a key? And then he remembers, oh shit, I don't live here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He reached for a key.
He started to put a key in the door.
Yes, he reached for a key. He has a key to that door.
Let's go back.
And so
she has been over here, but they never stayed.
She has never stayed here. So I wonder just.
Right there, he reaches for those keys.
Yeah.
And before he walked up to the door, he started reaching for some keys, and then he walked up to the door, and when he saw the door was locked, he again reached for those keys.
Yeah.
This is such a small. She's not in our look.
Now, what I'm trying to figure out, this lady know that he out there with the cops trying to find his baby. What's taking her so long to answer the motherfucking door? All right, let's look.
I'm fucking mad. She gonna open the door, man. She's gonna open.
He walks out.
What's her name?
She's gonna open.
Hi there. Are you Andrea?
Yeah.
Okay, Andrea. What's your date of birth, Andrea? So tell me about, like, when was the last time you saw her?
She was here.
When?
What time was I? I was sleeping like around 11 midnight. She was here. She was in bed sleeping.
Okay. And you guys never heard her come down, walk out? There's no forced entry or anything like that?
No forced entry.
Okay. Do you mind if I just come in and take a quick look? I'm not concerned about anything else. I just want to come in because probably 50% of the time we still find them inside the place when this happens. And
Well, I kind of do my face kind of break right now.
what's that?
My face is kind of going to break.
Listen, I go in all sorts of places. I don't care how big.
Is he aware of this?
What's that?
Is he aware of this?
Yeah.
That is a very strange question. First
You
off,
heard. That's what I'm telling you.
She looks like a troll. Her titties are on her belly.
Wait a minute.
And
We're
she
not
looks
gonna
like
get
a
into
troll.
the titties. We're not gonna get into the titties, okay?
She looks like she's a troll. First off, and is that like a choir gown or something she's wearing? What the fuck is she wearing? What is that?
Why we gotta talk about what she wearing? Can you talk about what the demeanor?
I'm just saying
that was
That was strange.
She's hesitant about letting the cops in her
Yes,
place.
but
And this
there's
baby done
probably
disappeared from her place.
there's probably drugs in there, and she's worried about
Oh
that.
wow, you think so?
And because no, the strange thing is, does he know you want to come in here?
Exactly.
Because they're gonna see his stuff in there.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "Oh, I live down there." They could arrest him for that. Oh, I don't live here. I live down there. You just gave false information during an investigation. They could arrest him for that.
Uh-huh.
But what they're going to find out is he actually lives there.
What, Trey? He won't chime in. All right, let's finish this, y'all. Look, watch it, Detroit Watch. Hey, Jan.
What's her name again? Was there any fights or arguments or anything last night? Bree is her name? Where was she sleeping at? Your bed? So where were you guys sleeping at last night? You guys slept out here? Oh. Can you look in the closet again? Huh?
That's all clothes.
I know, I'm just telling you.
I don't believe those were her sneakers on the floor.
She got on some sneakers though. If you look at her.
Yeah, but look at the size of those. Look at the size of those are his sneakers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's all clothes.
I know, I'm just telling you, you'd be surprised what we've.
I know, right?
Interesting. Whose clothes are those?
So she was sleeping in the bed with her brother? And you guys slept out here?
Okay.
Okay. What time did you guys wake up?
Now, I was still asleep. I don't know what time everybody else got up.
Well, what time did you wake up?
Oh, goodness, honestly, I cannot remember what time I was.
Okay, like 30 minutes ago, 2 hours ago? 2 hours ago? Okay. Hey, does she have any friends out here? Like, has she ever played with any of the neighbors?
All right, this cop's getting on my nerves. Stop doing that, damn it.
Okay, are you going to come out and help look or not?
Yeah. Okay, first off, why are there not more police officers out there?
I don't know these things.
They've already determined that the girl is not in the house. There should be 5, 6 police officers there right now. They should be knocking on doors. They should be asking anyone, did they see anything?
Everybody should be knocking on doors. She
Yeah.
could be, she wasn't, but she could have been inside one of those apartments.
Yes, and that's why he can't look by himself. He's, that's why he said, "Are you gonna come out and help look? Maybe, lady, she was in your house. There's no other children in the house. So you're telling me that him and her slept on that couch?" I believe She slept on the couch. I don't
Wow.
think he slept on the couch because did they look like they could both fit on that couch?
Mm.
He could barely fit on that couch by himself.
Yeah, he's a big dude. He's a big dude. Um, let's listen to some more of this opening statement, y'all.
In her hair. And then the scene was her little sports bra and the large white t-shirt. And in addition, Aisha Langford will tell you that she was asked by law enforcement to try and give them any information about clothing the child had been wearing. So she had to go back and try and reconstruct what she had been wearing. She thought that there was a possibility that it was a pink flip-flop, but then there was a little white slide that had turquoise on it, and that was found there, which was identified as belonging to the Aisha. All right. Then on April 3rd, the Big River Rescue and Recovery Team came out to the scene, and then the dive team went into the pond looking for a gun, and there was actually a revolver that was found. So with the revolver, obviously there's not going to be casings because there was an attempt to try and find casings in the area. There wasn't any. But the finding of the revolver, the projectiles obviously leaving the gun, the empty casings were there. There was still some live ammunition there. There was attempts to try and identify who had purchased that gun. Unfortunately, the records associated with that were in Cedar Rapids, and when there was that big flood, in the area of the courthouse and all of that, all of the records were destroyed. Those projectiles were then sent to the DCI laboratory to do comparisons with the gun.
Did you read what Melissa just said?
One of the projectiles was pretty mangled up, and because
She
So-
said, I wouldn't be surprised if she on the floor in her own house and he was on the couch.
Okay,
Oh, wow.
my problem with that statement is he got up in the middle of the night and left. That was not mentioned.
It didn't. It wasn't. Who do you mean the one mentioned by?
Wasn't mentioned by her.
Oh, okay. The lady Andrea, whatever her name is, right?
Yeah. She didn't mention that he got up in the middle of the night.
Yeah, because she got
and
up.
left.
Because she got, from what we know so far, she got up. She got up in the middle of the night and saw that he was missing and she was missing. Right. This is the thing. This is what we've heard so far. She got up, noticed that he was missing and Briasia was missing. Right. She sat up because she was concerned. He came home and went to the closet. She looked out the window and saw Briasia standing outside by the car. And then he left back out and left again with Briasia. And then some time later, he came back. I think it was maybe 30 minutes, I'm not for sure. He came back without Briasia. And that's when he said Briasia's gone. So for right now, instead of her letting the cop know, like you said, that instead of her letting the cop know all of this, she has the cops believing that this
that she had no idea where the girl went or how long. She's saying she was asleep. When I went to sleep, she was asleep. No mention of that they got up and left.
Right.
And then when he came back, she wasn't with him. That's pretty, like right there, she should be arrested also.
Yeah, she would have evidence, but I think, and I also think that she should have charges, but I think that the reason she don't have charges is she's probably going to testify or have testified against him.
I hope so.
But, yeah,
I hope so.
I don't know. Now, we're up in like day 14 or 15 of the trial. I don't know if she's testified or not, but I can pretty much say for a fact that the reason why she's not, because she should be charged with something.
Yes, she should. because
And I think the reason that she's not is because she's probably testifying against him.
because right there, if she had said, "Well, he got up at like
That
4."
would have been. I mean, that's like big. Like
Yeah.
you got up,
how
they
do you
both was gone.
how do you leave that
They,
out?
yeah,
How do you
they
not say that?
you got up, they both were gone. He came back, she was outside, and they left again, and he came back and she was not with him. Duh, you don't think you need to mention that? No, she wasn't gonna
I
mention that. She
yeah,
wasn't gonna mention that.
she knows, just like the mother knows. You did something to my child. I know you did. Just like she's saying, well, I don't. I'm just going to leave that out. That the both of them left. Now I don't know. Do you believe that she saw the girl by the car?
That's where did we get that from? We watched so much yesterday. I'm not sure where it came from. I'm not sure if I have to go back to my live from it. Yeah, Detroit, I have to go back to my live.
No,
I'm not sure where it
but
came from, but people said that she told that story. She told that story.
that's what it is. A story. Why? Okay, so you're not going to question him on where's the girl?
You do you listen? This is the same woman that you just witnessed tell the cops, like, well, basically say to the cops, well, do we know that you can come? Because the only way you can come in here if he says okay. That's basically what was her mindset when the cops came out there. So you think that he gonna question her? Do you think that? I mean, she gonna question him? Do you think that that little woman, that little meek woman who wouldn't let the cop in because she didn't know the Henry wanted him to come in? You think she gonna question him? Because see, she should have been questioning why he brought two kids down to that apartment and they ain't had nowhere for them to sleep.
And then you want us to
Yeah,
believe
that's
you
Bear. Supposedly she was standing up in the front seat of the car. I remember that.
standing up. Why would you be standing up in the front seat? How do you
I'm
stand up in the? What are you, 2 foot?
I'm telling you what we heard, what we gathered on yesterday. That's what was said.
I don't.
Truth.
Yeah,
Truth.
go ahead.
Okay. Hey, D Truth. Okay, so Truth, I read that. Remember yesterday, I read the lead investigator's timeline of events. So it says that at approximately 3 a.m., Andrea testified that she woke up and notices the defendant and Breasia Terrell are missing from the apartment. At 3:11 and 3:12 a.m., Andrea tried to call him and noticed that his phone was left in the apartment. At approximately 3:30, Andrea testifies that the defendant enters the apartment and retrieves an unknown item from the bedroom closet and leaves. So she looks out the window and sees Brianna standing outside of the Impala prior to the defendant leaving. At 3:33 to 3:38 a.m., the defendant arrived at a quick shop at 201 West 53rd Street in the Impala. Gets gasoline, 2 packs of cigarettes, and a lighter.
So that's where I heard it. That's where that come from. That
Yeah.
timeline.
But yet she doesn't mention any of that to the police officer looking for her. And the reason I say that is because he's saying, well, she could still be here in the apartment. Let me look around. She could easily said, well, they left. They left
So,
from
so
here.
he went to the gas station between 3:33 to 3:38 a.m. Got the gasoline, 2 packs of cigarettes, lighter. And then he around sometime before 5:55 a.m. he went back to Andrea's apartment to pick up his son.
So he goes back to the apartment. without the little girl to pick up the son. So why are they saying that the little girl went missing from there? All those
Well, I
things.
mean, the only somebody that know that she was missing from being with him is him and Andrew. They're not saying that. They're
That's
not right here in this body cam footage. They didn't offer that up. They
none.
got the
Which
people thinking that the girl went missing from the apartment and they was asleep when she got up and went to missing. They're not telling the story. They're not telling the whole thing.
there you go. Because you just impeded an investigation. They're looking for the little girl from the apartment. You see what I'm saying? The initial investigation starts at the apartment that they believe the girl is missing from. So they're wasting their time going, well, we need to go door to door, make sure she's not in any of these apartments. When that testimony I just heard being said says that little girl wasn't anywhere near that apartment at that time.
Yeah, he had took her away. He had took her away from there. She just get up. See, the impression that they gave initially is that somehow she got up in the middle of the night and maybe left out the apartment and went missing. No, took her away from there. But they're not offering that up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because right there they'd be like, so wait, where did you go? And
where did you take her? What happened?
The first question asked to her is, did you see the girl come back into the apartment? And if the answer is no, then you know exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Where's the girl? Did she run away from you when you had her out at 4:00 in the morning?
Right.
Where, see what I'm saying? You right now they're investigating at 11:00 in the morning that a girl is missing from these apartments at 11 a.m. when the testimony proves that that girl wasn't there at 6 a.m.
Exactly.
Because he came back to get, and why did you come back to get the boy at 6 a.m.? And why is the boy still there? Meaning, why did you bring him back to the apartment? And how come the troll thing isn't saying, where's the little girl?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's think about this. So he left the gas station, went back and picked up his son. Now remember, the son said that he saw his dad shoot his sister.
We haven't gotten to that yet. Okay.
Oh, my bad.
Go ahead.
So she had to still be alive if he. So where was she?
He had to take her somewhere. From what we know so far, when he left that house, when that woman said he left that house again with the little girl, the boy was still in the bed. So that means we do know he came back to the house without the little girl, and that's when he got the son. So he had to take her somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
He did something to her, and then he had to come back, get the son, and then go and shoot her. Like, what kind of sadistic mind? Why would you come back and get her brother?
Because he knew the brother saw something, and he wanted to make sure the brother understood that you would be next if you told. Because the brother just sat there and said, "Well, when I last time I saw her was in the bed." Well, what you just told me disproves what he just said to the cop. You see what I'm saying? That what you just said disproves what that little boy told the cop about. Well, I saw when I got into bed last night was the last time I saw her when we went to sleep. You're saying that the boy told the cops he saw the father shoot her. So
yeah, he testified. He testified to that. Because initially, that was a patrol officer when she initially was reported missing.
Yes.
Okay. That patrol officer was asking them questions.
Yes. Which the boy could have easily said, well, we left.
Right.
And he came and got me. The little boy made it seem like, well, we all got up together in the house and she wasn't
that little boy ain't make it seem like nothing. That little boy told what he told, and because he said, yeah, he did say I saw her in the bed, and then I woke up and she was gone.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, he didn't lie because he did wake up and she was gone, but he just didn't add the part to where
What
Daddy
time it
took
was. Yeah.
exactly and what happened. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure that man made sure he didn't say too much more. I'm pretty sure.
Well, someone mentioned that he told him to shut up. They kind of shushed him.
I saw that in the chat.
Yeah, that he kind of shushed him when he was by the police car. He said something. You couldn't make out what he was saying, and the father turned and looked at him. And then the boy got quiet. Now, here's the thing, though. Why is it the mother took him? Why?
Yeah, because the boy, the same way I don't understand why she left. It's the same reason why I don't understand why she didn't leave the boy there. Well, don't leave him there, but stay there with him because he could tell some shit. Like he could tell the police what he saw, what he did see, what happened. But she left and took the boy with her. Like she didn't give. I don't know.
You're a mother. You're a mother.
Oh my God.
Your daughter is missing. Her brother was with her. Aren't you questioning him in the car? What happened?
Not only that, I'm gonna let him stay there and talk to the police.
Well, I'm talking about besides that. So you're in the car with him. You're not asking the boy what happened.
Well, we don't know if she didn't question him in the car because she left.
She should have. But I'm saying right then, as soon as the boy said, "Oh, Daddy shot her," I'm going right back.
No. I think they said he said that in court. Am I mistaken? When did he say that?
No. He, across examination when the police interrogated him, he must have said that. But I'm just saying, you're not questioning the boy. I mean, grilling the boy. You know something. I need to know what happened to your sister. Where is your sister? Tell me what happened. You're not doing that.
Well, she may have questioned him in the car. She may have.
Can't question the child without a parent.
Well, no. I'm talking about her. I'm talking about the mama questioning him. What happened? Tell me what happened. What happened? And as
he should been able, if he was able to tell later.
And you know if your child is lying.
Shoot my sister. He should have been able to tell his mama that when they got in that damn car.
Yeah, but here's the thing though. You should have, when your child's lying to you or not telling you everything.
Hey, Fun.
Hey, but how do we know that she didn't question her child? That's the thing.
I just said that.
That's why I just said
it. I just said that we don't know if when they got in that car when she left, what she asked him. We don't know.
Right.
Okay.
And that's why he probably ended up testifying because he did tell some things that they went back to the detective and said, my son is saying X, Y, and Z.
Yep. Because I don't see her not questioning him. He was there. Like he was there. He could tell him.
Somebody questioned the boy.
And the good thing is, even though I think she should have stayed on the scene, her taking him away from the scene, away from that daddy, probably he felt more better talking. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because they said the daddy shushed him up.
And something maybe he was the dad was more intimidating to that child. That's the thing. You have to think as a child. You can't think as an adult. Why didn't that child do this, that, and the third? Their mindset is not like ours. And a child can be easily intimidated by a parent, whether it's the mother or the father.
Yeah, but he didn't have any fear. Like he showed no fear. That kid showed no fear.
How do you know that the truth though?
Look at his mannerisms. Look, he was just kind of like nothing happened. Just he was walking around.
But that could be that he was
looking in the police car.
There's no way he should have had that demeanor if he saw that man shoot his.
Yes,
he could have been in shock.
Yeah,
he could have been fucked up.
That's what I'm saying.
That fuck up an adult. So I'm pretty sure it fucked him up.
But he showed no signs of any kind of.
Well, listen, D2, let me put this on your brain. You notice how the cop was outside with the mother, and you notice how Dinkle came out with his son. He was in that apartment with that son while that police was outside. Ain't no telling what that man said to that child.
And that woman was in there.
Ain't no telling what they said to that child. The truth. I ain't no telling what they said to that baby.
It was just.
And if he saw that man shoot his sister, and he said, "Look, keep my clothes, or the same thing gonna happen to you," you can best believe that baby was scared.
But
You know what I'm saying?
he didn't show any signs of that.
And he was only what you say, 8 years old, 7 or 8.
I think.
Yeah, so
he's 8. That's what someone said in the chat. He was 8.
yeah, you can't expect too much out of an 8-year-old. The truth, for real though.
I do if I know he's witnessed that.
And like Truth said, he could have been in shock and just
he could have been traumatized.
Been out of
he
it. You know what I'm saying?
He could have been scared. Okay, we'll go.
But he didn't. But he doesn't exhibit any of that.
Okay, the truth.
You know, do you see any trauma? Do you see in his actions of him standing there, just standing there, and the cops go, "When's the last time you saw your sister?" "Oh, last night when we got in bed." Now again, he could have told the kid to say that to the cop if the cop asked him when he last saw his sister. He could have coached him in all of that. My thing is his demeanor was not showing me that his demeanor was like, yeah, they were here, then they weren't here. So if you see that when he comes walking out, he just comes walking out. Dad's right behind. He just comes walking out. And he's just standing there looking around like nothing happened.
All right,
like he don't know anything.
The front inside some apartment.
That's
most
why
likely.
I said I'm gonna still look.
Okay.
We don't know anybody out here. That's the
Yeah.
thing. She would have never.
How many?
She would have never. First of all, she would have never woke up at 8 o'clock in the morning. She would have never.
What you mean?
8 o'clock in the morning.
That ain't what I said. I never
I know
said.
you
guys,
didn't say that.
this is.
That little boy arms across. What does that tell you?
Yeah, that's something.
Well, watch when he walks up, and watch when the police officer's talking to him.
White t-shirt. Yep.
And you guys don't have alarms or anything on your doors if the door's open. Okay. And listen, I know this sounds dumb. I've lost my kids too. Okay.
Wait a minute. Why can't
What
I
did he
get to the-
say? What did he say right there?
You just
kid
watched
had-
it. You didn't hear?
No, I couldn't make out what the kid was saying because he talked over him. He's saying something right now by the police officer.
I think that's when they say he shushed him. Hold on, we're gonna go all the way back. We're gonna go all the way back.
Her date of birth?
409.
Okay. What's up, Henry? So when was the last time you saw her?
She was in the house.
Yeah, when was the last time you saw her?
9:30.
Last night?
9:30.
Okay. Okay.
9:30.
Okay. When was the last time you saw her?
She was in the bed when I woke up this morning.
See, she was in the bed when I woke up this morning.
She wasn't in the bed.
Oh,
when
wasn't in the bed when I woke up this morning. Okay, now.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
That looks
We're
cold.
two different things. First of all, let me say this. When I think about it, now that I think about it and I listen to him, you see how fast he blurted that out?
Yes. He was coached to say
that
that.
man told him to say that. Did you see how fast he blurted that out? Be true.
Yeah, he was coached to say that.
Yes.
He was waiting for his turn.
He was waiting to say it. That's why the dude pointing at him was like with him. Look, let's go back.
Yeah.
Listen.
Okay. What's up, Henry? So when was the last time you saw her?
She was in the house.
Yeah, when was the last time you saw her?
9:30.
Last night?
9:30.
Okay. Okay.
With him.
Okay. When was the last time you saw her?
She was in the bed when I woke up this morning.
Y'all see that?
Okay,
Not
now,
me.
Drew.
Wait,
Huh?
Wait a minute. I'm gonna point something out. Listen. Now you a mother. Now, his one arm is behind his back, holding his other arm down.
They be lying.
That's when they're lying.
They be lying, y'all.
You
I
know
ain't
when a
lying. She
child is
ain't lying.
lying
They
when
be
they got
lying.
Yeah,
one arm.
but look at his face.
No,
Look at his face. Look at his face.
Drew.
No, what I'm saying is I agree with you. Look at his face.
They be lying. When they
He
had
is-
that arm, that one arm back up like that, they be
Yeah.
lying.
He's got no
That's what I'm
emotion.
saying. He's intimidated by his father.
Yes.
And that's why he's lying. Because if you know, kids are honest. Even
They
though they're
will
not
tell the
even
truth.
trying to
Yes.
be, they just tell the truth. And they not even knowing that they're telling something important. You get what I'm saying?
Well, he has no emotion. Like there's no
Because
emotion
he's
on his face.
scared. I know, because when you question a child, they talk fast. They have you watch their body language.
You watch their body language.
Signs
That's
that
why
the child
parents
is lying.
Is lying. We eventually know when our child is lying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
And
that
he's
right
lying
there,
because he was told to lie.
he was told to say that exactly how he said it.
And as a child,
In
what
the
are you
bed
going
with
to
her
do?
last night, I woke up and she was gone. He done
Right.
missed. He done not said the whole thing about the dad going with the daddy and watching him. He done all that is erased. He got to say exactly what that man told him to say.
First off, there's no possible way this man can't be guilty of it. Because you said the last time you saw her was 9:30 last night. But there's testimony.
And that's a lie.
That's what I'm saying. That right there it tells everyone you're guilty. Why would you tell them the last time I saw her was 9:30 last night?
And that's the same thing he told the son to say.
In the bed with him. In the bed with him. So right there, you're telling me as soon as that lie is found, I'm arresting you. You said you saw her last night at 9:30, but we have other people saying,
you know what they do? The reason why they put that they locked that damn man up on that violation and kept him locked up until they found that baby. They knew. They knew.
They did not want. They locked him up immediately because they did not want him getting rid of evidence. When they saw he changed clothes, the stuff in the car, they didn't want him to get rid of any of that. We immediately had to put this man in jail. They knew at the second that police officer called all this in, they knew he did it. They knew he did it because they swooped in and got him
cop right there on the scene before any other cop got involved knew he had something to do with it.
That police officer knew immediately. Something's funny. And then to turn to the girlfriend and say, "Are you gonna help me look?" Right there, he's telling me, you know, she's not here. You know she is nowhere around here. You're not going to waste your time to look because you know she's not here.
Nowhere around there.
That's why they had to threaten her to be arrested because she lied. She lied during the initial investigation, and she lied throughout that time that he was asking her questions. All those things are crucial in the first minutes of the investigation. If they knew the girl was not there, they wouldn't have spent their time walking around looking.
Yep. All right, let's listen to a little bit more because we got to get out of here. Trey's going live at 12, so we're gonna get out of here in order to go over support.
It's not really you know how I be doing. This is a little 12-minute thing.
I can't. I
premiere?
Yeah, it's a premiere. I can't. Okay.
Well, it's not. It's actually gonna show up as a live, but it's just 12 minutes.
Okay.
Where's that video I asked you for, woman? I've been through your channels. I can't find it still.
It's probably on private, but you ain't got to be harassing me Just you should
But I
remind me
found
when I
something
go over
good though. You inspired my live that I'm finna do. So there you go.
Sir,
Okay,
you should
well,
be.
I'll
You
find
should
it as soon as I get off of here. Don't be
go.
harassing me.
Trey, go over to Helmet Heads because she's thoroughly searching uh, Truth's videos right now for stuff that I've said.
Anyway, anywho.
I don't go to that woman. I don't need to. For what?
Okay. All right, so let's listen to a little bit more of this opening statement, and then we'll talk. The truth, come correct, fun. Y'all can stop me at any point if y'all want to say something. Let's see.
Because these have been out in the elements for quite a while. The criminalist who evaluated that looked at the characteristics of the revolver and what characteristics would be transferred to a bullet by virtue of the manufacturing process and how the barrel itself will have unique markings. He could say that what characteristics that were there were similar to this gun, and then the criminals put together a list of every type of gun that would produce those types of similar characteristics. The gun recovered was on that list. There was DNA processing done of her little clothing. One of the issues that law enforcement was dealing with the little body and clothing being out there subject to the elements, the sun, the wind, the rain, the snow, obviously over time, that will destroy DNA. And so that process was attempted as well. And then from the FBI, here's what you're going to hear from the FBI. There were search warrants, a massive amount of search warrants issued. And in instances like with the Chevy Impala or different vehicles, multiple search warrants issued. The vehicles were photographed and they were searched. Of note, in the Chevy Impala, there was an axe, there was a baseball bat, but then there was an empty sleeve for like a knife or a machete, but no machete there. When they were recovering the remains of Breasia Terrell, there was a bunch of tree branches and stuff on top of the.
Melissa, I saw your email, Melissa. I got you.
Okay, so this is not a trial by jury. That's why the judge is constantly writing stuff down.
Yeah, we determined that he got a bench
Yeah.
trial.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I wouldn't have wanted a bench trial.
Well, because they were fighting over whether he'd get a fair trial because the public knew that he was a convicted sex offender.
I get that. Well, yeah, but I just wouldn't have wanted a bench trial. I'm sorry. It's just to me, honestly, you take better chances with a jury.
Well, yeah, you always do because the judge is always going to understand. The judge is going to know the law better than 12 jurors.
I guess so. I guess. Okay.
Skeletal remains. Some of those branches, there were natural breaks, with the wind, and there would be the splintering of the branch if it comes off of a tree. Other branches had a clean slice through it. Detorius had described when he and his father went down to Credit Island, his father had walked off into an area toward like what would be the pond, and his father had a knife that he was wiping off. Law enforcement went down to that area, and there were foot impressions in the dirt where you could see what would have been the pattern on the sole of the shoes worn. That was photographed and that was collected, and then as those footprints moved forward to the body of water, that basically it became just depressions in the ground where it was more. And those casts were taken because one of the things that Aisha Langford talked about is when she had contact with Henry Deacons at the apartment, she noticed that he was wearing a pair of gold shoes that had mud on them. He had a do-rag on, and it was just kind of a steel. And he had on a white T-shirt, and it was a little dirty, not something that was more. Down to the Davenport Police Department at noon. white t-shirt and the shorts that he was wearing at the apartment complex. He had on a different pair of tennis shoes. And then the other thing that the state will throw into the equation that the court will hear about, during Henry Dinkins' interview, he was asked about why he was leaving the apartment in the middle of the night in his travels. He had talked about going to the quick shop over on 53rd, that would be near the old Menards, where the old Menards was at, to buy cigarettes. That video surveillance feed was collected. He was wearing those gold shoes, but that he had on something distinctly different. What I'm going to call the life beaters white t-shirt versus one that has sleeves, and then a different pair of shorts, that had different pattern. Search warrants were obtained for 2744 East 53rd, and the defendant's sister's house, Nina McQuay, and then another individual by the name of Genesis Johnson. And that was based on communications that Henry Dinkins had with those individuals that morning of July 10th, looking for the tennis shoes, looking for what the clothes that he'd been wearing in the quick shop. And those were never, ever recovered or found. And so therefore, there could be no comparison between the images that were collected and the dental casts that were taken out on Credit Island. There was a gentleman by the name of Jim Peters then who came in from the Ames area to assist. He works with canines, and these canines are trained to detect on the odor of a deceased body, VOC, and he'll define that, volatile organic compounds. And basically, it deals with molecules. He went down to Credit Island and ran his two canines in that area. The two canines went to an area and alerted where Henry Dinkins was described by his son D.L. as having gone. He'll talk about how a body doesn't necessarily have to be there, but say, for example, if there's tissue or blood or something like that, those are molecules that go out and they float in the air. Then he was taken to the area of Devon Self-Storage, where the RV had originally been parked, but it now had been seized, as had the Impala and the Camaro, and those were in storage facilities that law enforcement had. The dogs actually alerted to a little camper that was parked in the area of the RV, and there had been a southwest wind. So with molecules, they were alerted to some moist dirt underneath that camper. And he will describe how molecules will attach to anything that's moist. Then they went out to the area where the Camaro was at. The dogs did not alert there. They went to the area of the RV. The dogs alerted on the RV toward, and the dogs alerted on the Impala. And then they went out to the area along Veterans Memorial Drive in the area of Eastern. And he'll describe how a vehicle, with the seams, odors will seep out of that and they can float. And the dogs alerted to the scent of Henry Dinkins, because when he went out there, he had been given, or law enforcement had collected a clothing item of Henry Dinkins, and there had been swabs taken to collect his scent, his odor, that had been shown to the dogs. And the dogs actually went out and alerted in an area that the vehicle was known to travel past. So the court will be hearing about that as well. The other matter that I would share in my opening, in addition to the canvas up at 2744 East 53rd, the major canvas that was done out on East River Drive, you'll hear about some other canvases that have happened when the public would call in and they would think that they would have information. It didn't prove to be fruitful. When it had been determined that Henry Dinkins had been traveling along Highway 30, there was a major canvas that was done in that area. And soil samples were collected from that area. Soil samples were also collected from Credit Island, and here's why. With the Impala, when it was being searched and examined, and actually the gas tank was removed because they wanted to determine how much gas was in the gas tank. Henry Dinkins had fueled up at that quick shop, so they wanted to see how much gas was left. There were chunks of mud and grass up underneath the car. And then when Baraja's little remains were found over there in the area of Kunal Implement, there were soil samples collected along that area. FBI, 3 soil samples in the area of 270th Avenue were found inclusive of 3 of the 4 soil samples that were taken out from underneath Henry Dinkins' car. And then the final topic of conversation is a gentleman by the name of Jared Brink. With the discovery of her remains, the news story started to go out. Jared Brink had gone over that evening to his friend Joseph Adams' house. Joseph Adams indicated that they had found remains over there in the area of Kunal Implement. And Jared had mentioned to his friend, do you remember how I told you last year sometime that there had been a black gentleman that had run out onto Highway 61 when I was going to work and had needed me to pull him out because he had gotten stuck? For purposes of perspective, Jared Brink lives in a rural area just further north of 212th Street. He works at Linwood Mining in Buffalo. So he travels into Davenport and travels that area of the highway at 4:30 a.m. in the morning. That's when he had an encounter with a black gentleman. He was directed over to the area of 270th. There was a maroon Chevy Impala that the right side of the vehicle, the wheels were stuck off onto the shoulder, and that gentleman couldn't get the vehicle out. He was up there at the car. There was no one in the car. He pulled the vehicle out. The gentleman wanted to pay him money. He was very, very thankful. He wouldn't take the money. But then, of course, when Mr. Adams tells him about this, Mr. Adams' wife has a picture of the maroon Chevy Impala due to press releases that the Davenport Police Department had been putting out. She showed him a copy of that photograph. Jared Brink says that that's the vehicle I pulled out. He then contacted law enforcement. He had contact with the Deputy Cundiff with the Clinton County Sheriff's Department, Lieutenant. Lieutenant Cundiff reached out to the Davenport Police Department, and then Mr. Brink was interviewed. Mr. Brink could provide physical descriptors that were consistent with Henry Dinkins. He was not able to, he said he would not be able to pick him out of a photo lineup. He wasn't sure of the time frame, but then he provided his cell phone. And that cell phone then was processed for location information. And that cell phone placed Mr. Brink in that area on July 10th at the time frame of 4:30. So that essentially is what the court is going to be hearing. What the state's going to do, Your Honor, we're going to try and, in an ideal world, I would put on a linear chronology of what happened, but we're dealing with a lot of people that we have to fly in and out. And so things are going to get jumbled around. But just for purposes of perspective, this afternoon, we will have Borelli, who will be testifying. That was our communication specialist. Our civilian crime scene technician, Jill Foster. She's going to come in. She did the processing out there on Credit Island. And then we have another civilian crime scene, Alicia Fritz, who will be coming in. She's going to be talking about photographs that she took of the brush when Briage's remains were recovered, but she's getting ready to have a baby and she'll be induced on Monday. And then we're going to have Officer Chris Mayer get on the stand. He actually was out in the area of Briage's remains, and he helped to take measurements of where, like, we would find the skull and where we would locate various skeletal remains and clothing. So it's going to be all over the place there, Your Honor. We'll do our best, but there will be points in time where we have to put people on, and it's not a nice linear chronology. And that's all from the state.
Thank you, Ms. Cunningham. Mr. Freese, is the defense going to present an opening statement?
Your Honor, the defense is going to reserve its right to make an opening statement to the close of the governor's evidence.
All right. Thank you very much. That'll conclude the proceedings this morning. We'll read Ms. Cunningham.
Your Honor, one of the things that I had asked, because of we've got time concerns that we have to get witnesses on this afternoon, they're flying in and they're flying out. What I would like to do is, if we could take advantage of the next hour, put Sergeant Piper on the stand to testify, because then we can get maps introduced of the area so that we have that perspective as we move through individuals' testimony.
I am fine. I'm good with that, but we will take a 15-minute recess.
So even though I could barely hear the truth, what y'all think about the opening statement?
She laid out a lot of the leading up to what the testimony was going to be. So basically, she's telling them the people involved what they saw, what they found, and what they're going to testify to.
Yeah, she just laid out the case pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. She laid out who's testifying, what is said, but there's a lot of inconsistency, and they do talk about that a lot, about the little boy's testimony has changed a number of times,
Yeah.
in and out, but they can't deny that he is seen on video purchasing 2 bottles of Clorox. But the boy testifies that he was on the scene because see, the lies is what's going to get him and the girlfriend in trouble. The not saying the things initially and then coming back later and changing their story. You know, and then there's a trailer involved or a RV involved in this also. So I guess he was also staying at an RV. So, you know, all these things. And then they mentioned that when they went to search the Impala, they could smell bleach.
They searched the what?
The Impala, his car.
Oh, okay, got you.
That they smelled bleach on him. And that when they opened the trunk, they could smell bleach in the trunk. Nobody bleaches their car.
No, he used the bleach to clean off the machete that was used to chop up her body.
Yes, the boy actually testified to say he saw him pour the bleach onto the machete, and they did find a sheath, which is the thing you place the machete in, a cover for it in the trunk in the trunk of the car.
Now I have to ask this, and I really don't. I really don't like to go far into stuff until we get to it. But has it been said? Because I'm very curious to know. Okay, because we got to admit that the kidnapping and the murder of this child was brutal. It was unnecessary. Has there been a reason stated as to why he killed her? Did he do something to her? And y'all know what I'm talking about. Did he do something to her before he killed her, which made him believe he needed to kill her?
I believe so. I believe so.
Yeah. Whenever
destroy the DNA evidence.
Yeah. Whenever there's water involved, it usually means that they want to hide something. They want the water is going to wash away a lot of the DNA evidence. Like they couldn't.
But you know what? When it comes to that, when it comes to that, it depends on how extensive the abuse is or was. Water can't wipe away abrasion. Now she was decomposed. She was decomposed. I think it took like 9 months to find her. I think, but water cannot wipe away. Now decomposition can, but.
Well,
water can wipe away abrasions and tears and things of that nature, but I had to think about the fact that it was so long before they discovered.
Very little tissue was left on her. They found the skull, which means that most of her tissue was gone. They found her clothing, and they couldn't specifically say if there was traces of bleach on the clothing. So he told an inmate that they'll never find her body.
Wow.
They'll never find her body. He told another inmate that he believes that she was sex trafficked, that this had something to do with sex trafficking.
Wow.
And the fact that he did do something to her, he did it to her in that apartment. I don't, and I think whatever he did, he told her, "Well, I'm going to take you back to your mother. I'm going to take you to your mother right now." And that's how he got her to get in the car with him, because she was standing by the car. From what they're saying, I don't believe that anyone saw her standing by the car, but if she's standing by the car, he told her, "Look, I'm gonna take you. I'm gonna take you home. I'm taking you home right now. Let's go." Why else would that girl get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go with him? Nothing's open.
I don't know.
See what I'm saying? It's strange that she got up to go with him.
And see, I think because the girlfriend is so shady and her character is so shady, her saying she looked at the one that saw the baby standing by the car. Because see, this is my thing. And see, this is why this shit is not making sense to me, and I can't wait to get into the testimony. This woman says that this man got up in the middle of the night and got this baby out of her bed, had this baby downstairs in the car at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, and he's not answering her questions, or she's not asking him. I don't know which one it is, but there's no way that the man I'm supposed to be laying with would just, would take a child out of. She didn't give a fuck. If that really happened, if she got up and saw that baby standing outside and let that man come in that house, leave back out and take that baby away, and she not asking no questions, or she not trying to stop him, she didn't give a fuck.
Well, she's already
every damn body. I'm questioning him, the girlfriend, the mom. I'm questioning everybody.
She's already proved.
Making sense.
Yeah, but she's already proved that she'll lie for him.
Exactly. And for her to say, I don't know what the fuck she was thinking, but for her to say that I got up and saw him get, this baby was with him at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. They drove off into the sunset. Like, you ain't questioning him. Like, what are you doing? Like, why you got this baby out this time of night? Like, where y'all go? Like, honestly, then when the cops come, you want to sit up there looking like motherfucking Dumbo.
Well, she did have Dumbo titties, but I'm just saying she withheld stuff that was crucial to the investigation.
Yes, she did, and that's why I think she should have been charged. And like I said, the only reason why I think she's not, if she's not, is because she flipped right.
So there's another child involved in this. There's an older brother who Dinkins refused to take, said there wasn't enough room in the car.
I heard that. Too.
You have a Chevy. You have a Chevy Impala.
Yep.
How are they not fitting in it? What the fuck?
You know what, D-Truth? Just to be clear, listen, y'all. Just to be clear, what D-Truth is saying, when Dinkins went to go pick up his son and Breasia from that grandmother's house, there was an older brother that wanted to come too. He told the older brother he didn't have enough room in his car to take him, so he left him. I think he knew when that baby went with him that he was gonna do something.
This is his chance. I've been dying to get her alone. I've been dying to get my hands on her.
And that's why he didn't take that older brother.
Because he knew the older brother would be like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" I believe that he went in that room and messed with her. And she woke up and was mad, and he said, I'm taking you home to your mother. Why else would she
probably have her thinking he was taking her home? If what that woman is saying is true, the baby was out there in the car. He probably told her he was taking her home.
Yep, exactly. That's the only reason I could see her getting up at 4 a.m. to go somewhere, is if he was taking her home. That he tried something in the bedroom. The brother's asleep, and he tried something.
You know what, D-True? I'm gonna say this too. I'm gonna take it a little bit further, and I'm gonna say I don't think he did it in the bedroom. I think maybe he got her out of that bedroom. It was in that living room, and I hate to say it, I believe that woman was right there when he did what he did. I'm sorry, I just don't believe it.
Because remember, she said something about she woke up and he wasn't there.
What?
She woke up and he wasn't there.
So do you think whatever he did to her, he did it outside? You say he
No,
believe
I
he
think
did
he
it in
did
the
it. I think
bedroom.
he did it in the bedroom. That's why he said, "Let them have our bedroom." Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they sleep on the couch? Two
Shout
kids
out
sleep
to
sleep. Two kids sleeping on the couch. No big deal,
shout,
right?
shout out
Or an
to
air
Nanya.
mattress. Or an air mattress.
Victims will do what they believe will help them survive. Period. Hey, truth. Hey, Nanya. I agree, Nanya. I agree. I just don't think that lady is innocent, the truth. I think she knew what
No,
this man was doing.
I believe that she heard something. I believe that something happened in there, and she was going to tell because
That she was gonna
she
tell.
probably said,
Look at
"I'm
that
telling my
beautiful baby. She was gonna tell her mama.
I'm telling my mama. I'm telling my mama. I'm gonna tell my mama what you did." I believe she did say that to him, and that flipped the switch in him because remember, this ain't the first time.
And he was already violating
Yes.
by being around the baby.
So he was going away for life because he's a sex offender and registered, and he had this earlier, and because she's under the age of 13, he was going away for life this time.
I need you to do something for me right quick. Oh, I went out. I need you to do some research for me. Is where he is, the state that he's in, is the death penalty on the table? Like is the death penalty on the table in this case?
No, I don't believe I don't believe because
They said
I
if and they said if he is faced with all of the charges, um, he could get
It's a,
like in prison
yeah,
without parole.
without parole possibility he faces life in prison without the possibility of parole, which means because this is first degree murder, which is a capital offense. They could have easily charged him if the state has capital punishment. Now let me see if Iowa is a capital punishment.
Because he was paroled 4 months prior to this happening.
But it wasn't on a sexual offense. It was on drugs.
wow.
So he got paroled on a non-sexual offense. He got paroled on drugs.
Yeah, for what, transporting meth or something.
Yeah, a controlled substance with intent.
Yeah.
But she had to have known that he was. So Iowa does have a.
It does have death penalty. So does his
They
charges not warrant the death penalty? I'm confused. Why is he? Y'all know I don't even do the death penalty. My God, today. I was just wondering. Somebody asked and I want to know that.
I guess they did abolish it.
My God, today. I cannot.
No, they did
So,
abolish it.
oh, they did.
The last execution was 1965.
Now we're through
Yeah,
with that. When we come back, y'all, which is gonna be tomorrow, we'll get into the defense's opening statements. But before we leave, we're gonna watch one more video with the mama in it. Somebody sent me this and said, since I was doing videos with the mama, they wanted to see if I wanted to do this one. So yeah, let's play this and then we got maybe 5 minutes to talk and then we're gonna be out of here. Let's see.
Yes, my name is Aisha Langford. Yeah, it's Aisha Langford. I'm here actually. They told me they had a surprise. They made a Briasia dress. So it's only right if I actually came out and actually gave that support as much as they're doing for me. Like as you seen the guy with this shirt, that definitely touched me when I see them, you know. So not only know that me and my sister are out here with our Briasia shirts on, as well as someone else bringing her home as well. So I mean, to me, a month in, you know,
All right, that was her mom. Yeah.
She's still hopeful that they're going to find her alive, which kind of behooves me. Like, really, you know he did this. You know he did it. So how do you even hold out hope that she's still alive somewhere?
Because she's probably in denial. She may be in denial, and I can't imagine losing a child, but oh my God, he should be hung by his balls.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really,
Absolutely.
because I didn't catch this yesterday when you played that one video with the body cam or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But he's a lot older than this woman.
He is
19 years.
Yeah, and she was 17 when she had that baby.
I thought
He was like in his
no.
late
I thought
30s.
she was like no, because she said the baby was born in 09 and she was born in
In
90.
91. So that would have made her 17. I know
Oh
this why
wow.
because my daughter was born in 91. She graduated in 2010.
Oh wow.
Well,
Yes.
he has a history of liking younger women.
That's why I said in the chat, oh, he goes for the young ones.
He's
He
a
was down there.
Chester. He's a Chester.
Yes, he was damn near 40 when he got with her. In his late 30s. And she was 17.
But now he's with a troll just because he needs a place to lay his head.
Well, now he's older. He's in his early 50s.
How old do you think the troll is?
I'm sure she's probably younger than him, but I would say probably late 40s, early 50s.
Oh, we know he's not her father, treadmill. Oh, wait, you're right. No, Briasia is the oldest. She had Briasia at like 20. Briasia is the oldest.
Yeah, because she had her as a teenager.
But she didn't have Briasia by him though. No, she has a son that
He's 8.
That's the
but
little boy.
Briasia is not by him, is what I'm saying. She wasn't at 17, she had Briasia.
Okay.
She didn't have Briasia with him.
I believe
because I forgot about that. Briasia is not his biological daughter, just the son.
I believe the older son she had at 17.
Yeah. I think she had Briasia at like what, 21?
She can. If she was born in 91 and that little girl was born in 2009.
Did she say 91? I think okay.
Yes, she was.
But yeah, Briasia is not by him.
So if she has an older son older than Briasia, then she had that boy at what, 15, 16?
Could be 15, 16.
That's why I was able to do the math so quickly because my daughter was born in 91.
Gotcha, Fun. Gotcha.
Well,
you right.
But Briasia is not his. So she had her at 17. She had the 8-year-old. And she was maybe, I want to say 30.
I
would like to know what Briasia's dad is at too, because I ain't seen no
Briasia was 10 and the little boy 8. The truth, that's only 2 years.
19. No,
not the little boy. He talking about the oldest boy. It's a boy older than Briasia.
Well, that's what I'm saying. She had to be 15, 16, depending on how old he is.
So she was 24 when she had the 8-year-old. Because she's 11. I believe she's 11 when she went missing.
She was 10. Yeah.
11, I think. They keep saying 11. So, but again, when you have when she met him, she had 2 children. And she was 24 or 23 when she met him. With 2 children.
He's still like.
Oh yeah, he's still like some very, very young, which shows by what he got arrested for. What's Do you know a 17-year-old that is looking at a 5-year-old that way?
Yeah, one that's gonna probably I don't talk about
Go on to be this.
go on to be this. That's what I'm glad you put it in the words for me. Go on to continue to do that shit throughout life. Like at 17, like really, you not looking at other 17-year-olds. You're not trying to get with the other. You looking at a 5-year-old. You messing with a 5-year-old at 17.
At 17,
My
You
God,
know what? I
today.
think when people commit these type of crimes, they should just cut it off.
The first
That
time
should be
one, just cut
one
the
of
motherfucking balls off.
Oh, Jesus. But okay.
yeah, cut
Now,
all of it.
now the reason that he was with the troll is because the troll doesn't have any children living there, so he could live there. But he didn't register as living there. That was one of his offenses, that he did not let them know that he is living there. As he has to register his new where he's living. That's why he said, "No, I don't live here. I live down there." Where's there? I don't remember the address. You don't know your house address?
All right, y'all. We're gonna continue this tomorrow with the defense opening statements. I do want to get off on time because Trey's thing starting at 12, and he said it ain't but 12 minutes, and I don't want nobody to miss it. So we're gonna go over there and support. I'll be back later on the T channel with for those that support the T channel. I'll be back with Melissa's response to Sharonica's live tonight, later on tonight.
So I was looking at that. So she isn't fired, right?
She said she didn't get fired. They tried though.
Good. Yes.
They
And
tried.
and then Trey was like, "Don't have emotional response." No, Chico's at fault. He let her do it.
Absolutely. He condoned it. Let me tell it. But I want to thank everybody. Oh, this is a good panel today. I appreciate Conqueror. I appreciate Fonberry. I appreciate D Truth. I appreciate Trey, even though he don't do shit. But he's here. He's supporting.
I mean, he did. He contributes to just.
He shows up. He gonna show up.
I mean, Sweet Berry contributes just a little more than Trey, but I'm just saying.
A lot more than Trey. Come on now. Trey like that worker that comes in, clock,
You know what?
comes to work.
You know what, True? I tried. When I tried to be like nice and civil, it just don't work.
I heard you niggas.
Trey is that worker that clocks in and goes sit on his ass and get on the phone. I'm just saying.
He clocks in and then goes makes breakfast.
Hell yeah.
See, Fawn, I told you yesterday in the chat. See, I'm up here. Truth ain't had no Wi-Fi issues. She been sharing, talking.
Oh, she tried to say it was you, Conqueror.
The storm gone. That's why it's better. The storm gone. You was up her last night and she still was Rice Krispie treats.
That's because I went to sleep.
E. Brooks.
I don't know what was going on. I'm just glad to see.
E. Brooks is defending Trey. Leave him alone.
Because I swear I almost deleted that live. I just don't like to have issues with sound or nothing like that. And I got off live last night.
Grace and Truth and Pennywise being mean to me.
Truth and Pennywise. Stop being mean.
Okay.
Maybe I'll send you the thing that I use.
Yeah.
So if you're having issues, you could use the phone line.
Oh yeah. Well, it wasn't issue. It was issues with my sound. Like everybody else was good. It was me.
Yeah, but yours might be it might be better with the phone instead of having everybody logged into StreamYards might take some of your bandwidth away.
Gotcha. All right, y'all. Trader went live. Let's get out of here. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. We'll be back tomorrow with the defense opening statements. Thank y'all for supporting these lives. I do appreciate it. I love y'all. Shout out to the team. Shout out to the True Sim. Shout out to State Gang. Y'all be good today. Have a blessed and beautiful day. And I'll see y'all later on today. Okay. Thank you, panel. Thank y'all so much. I'll see y'all. All right. I'll see y'all over in State Land.
Peace out.
Peace out.
Say it's my regular. I'm talking. Say it's